Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. All right. Good morning, folks. Happy Thursday. How are you guys doing? Blake and Aaron, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I don't think they're quite ready for me. So let me go ahead and grab some other links while we are getting ready. How's everybody doing today?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Ooh.
How's it going?
We're good.
Yeah, we're just playing a little Pat Benatar at the moment while she finishes up.
Well, remind me of a song by her.
Hit me with your best shot.
Oh, yes.
Hit me with your best shot.
Something.
Fire away.
Yeah. Kiss karaoke for you right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice. Love it. Love it.
How about a forecast? Would you like a forecast today?
A weather forecast? Sure. Nothing.
All right, 85 for a high today. I can't believe we're back in the mid 80s. Lots of sunshine. Winds out of the southeast 10 to 15. Chance of rain 15%. Right now 80.2 degrees. 84% humidity. Winds out of the south right now at 6 miles per hour. According to the DMS Broadcasting Weather Station up on the rooftop. And Aaron
Sorry, that was
was confirming there are some allergies in the air.
Actually, I need to do some more allergy testing because it looks like I definitely have something going on.
Ooh.
So I have to start doing an antihistamine thing for like a couple weeks and do some more allergy testing to see how bad it is. It's not horrible, but I think it does.
When's the last time you changed your air filters in your AC unit?
I try to have those done like every time they service the AC unit, which is like once a quarter.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. We're ready for you now.
All right.
Here we go.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Hello, IG fam.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Darren's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Hey, Sandy, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing this beautiful Thursday morning?
Good.
We are well. What do you got for us as far as headlines?
All right, so minimum wage. Did you guys miss it yesterday? There was a press conference.
I did. What happened?
Where they went through some of the details, their thought processes regarding minimum wage and really why some of the changes are coming our way. It was interesting. So one of the most interesting things I thought is that they're looking at, they have suggested phasing out gratuity subsidy. So you know how people in the service industry, which is a lot of them, currently make below minimum wage. And then they're like, oh, they make up, that through gratuities. So that's why they allow those companies to be able to, my apologies, to be able to do that. Now, their suggestion is to phase that out completely and basically put them on par with everybody else when it comes to, making the same minimum wage.
I don't think that'll go over well with the hospitality industry.
Well, they also talked about how
although they may like a higher wage and then add tips on top of that. But the thing is it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
For the consumer, I'd rather not have gratuity added, but as a hospitality worker, they probably would. Because some people don't tip.
I don't think that they're suggesting that you don't add it for the consumer. They're just saying that they're going to put everybody eventually on a base salary, and then gratuities would be extra for those workers. It wouldn't be trying to make up their minimum wage, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So we're going
to put a tighter squeeze on the let's say restaurant owners, because their margins are already slim. Now they got to pay their servers a higher wage, and they're making that up.
I mean, a lot of people in the world don't tip, and they don't add tips. Other countries,
Well, in the U.S. they don't.
The U.S. does, but other countries, never. So they come here and they're like, I don't tip in my country. I'm not used to that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, right now, restaurant
the way that we are here,
owners,
included in the
they pay a lower base salary because they make it up, but now they'll have to fork out extra money for their staff.
Yeah.
I get both sides.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's a hard one.
Water sports guests and crew put out a fire at Starfish Point. Did you guys see the photo of this fire?
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah. How did the fire start? Does anyone know?
Like a campfire under control?
What we know is that the guests and crew of 2 boats from Captain Marvin's Water Sports and Sweet Spot Water Sports jumped into action on Tuesday night with bins and buckets of water to put out a huge fire at Starfish Point. So
it looked huge, but did someone throw out a cigarette?
There's no indication of what started the blaze. So if anybody was there and they can give us some additional details and exactly what happened, by all means, let's see if we can't find out. Because this was a pretty wild story.
Yeah.
But did the fire service show up and investigate?
They haven't said anything, so we don't know. If they did, they've not issued a press statement, so I don't know.
I would hope so. That's kind of.
Yes, I would hope so.
The name's in their job.
Bum's the word.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so let me see what else is going on. You just had me laugh. Okay, I think I got off focus there. All right, so this is an interesting sort of international story, and I know a lot of women will be, thinking hard about this, including myself. There's evidence now that gel manicures can be dangerous for you.
Well, it's the UV.
It's the UV, right.
Yeah, it's like going into tanning beds. So
yes,
just like put sunscreen on.
Isn't that the same UV light you use if you do other types of nail treatments, including a regular polish?
No, I mean gel. It sets under the UV light.
Well, this is a very good question.
So, but what? Yeah,
so
the
American Academy of Dermatology has basically said
put sunscreen on.
Yes, that this is one of the concerns. I've actually been having an issue lately, so I'm going to discuss this morning because I think it's an interesting situation about whether or not you do these things. They're kind of in vain when it comes to your health. Everybody's trying to look their best, but yes, there's a health concern there. All right, 61 athletes are going to be representing Cayman at Carifta Swimming Champs. So get ready for this amazing opportunity for athletes to once again be on display in the Bahamas from March the 28th through April the 3rd at the Carifta Swimming Championships. So we're wishing all of the Cayman Islands junior national team the best of luck. We're sure that they will do well. And
Hey, what's the word on the Olympics? Do we have any? There's been nothing about it.
I have literally heard nothing about it either. And it's starting in a few months.
I know. Yeah, it's in it's July, I believe, or August. Let me take a look officially. It is.
I've not heard much about it either.
It's in 141 days. It doesn't say exactly. Let me see.
So Yeah, I mean, I can certainly try to.
Yeah, it's July 26th to August 11th.
Yeah, that's right around the corner.
It is. Like, who's going? Are we going?
I guess we're not going.
Why? We have some good swimmers. We got a good golfer.
I don't know. So France is preparing for that, but is Cayman preparing? I've not literally seen anything in relation to it. So it's an excellent question. We can perhaps start asking from those.
I'm starting my luge training very soon for the Winter Olympics. That'll be in 2 years.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
All right. Luge.
The two-man luge. Yeah.
Two-man luge.
Him and Dave Kelly.
Oh God,
that's me and Derek Bolingbrook.
I mean, you might get a movie made about your efforts. So you just never know. Or those are your news headlines.
The agony of defeat. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Sandy.
All right, guys. Have a good one. All right. Good morning, everyone. Oh, they're so funny sometimes. Woohoo. Do. All right. Trying to see. Give me 1 second here. Sending out my links to everybody. I'm also trying to see where is my light. One light is on and the other one is not on. So give me 1 second here. Let me try to figure out what is going on. How is everybody doing? Okay, control center. I don't know what's going on with the lights. Something fishy. Something is, there we go. Sometimes, there we are. Oh my gosh. So I can turn on the light manually, but that button doesn't seem to be working. So then that means I have to turn it on from the PC and the app wasn't open. Oh, Lord. The things we have to do to get stuff working around here. All right, so I got Zeus in the studio. He refused to leave. Miss Stacy, let me just make some adjustments. Just a little bit. Come on, Mr. Zeus. Miss Stacy was trying to get him to move, and she was calling him, and he was not leaving. He's like, nope, I am staying in the studio. I am staying in the studio today. The problem is he wants to be like right under my foot. And so this morning, I'm actually going to be rolling my water bottle on my foot. So I can't have him right up underneath me. And of course, he doesn't understand these things. He's a dog. So he's like, nope, I'm not moving. I am just not moving. I'm comfortable. Excuse me, Zeus. Excuse me, puppy. There we go. Excuse me, sir. Can you excuse me? There you go. Oh my gosh. There. He likes to be like right under me. My husband was saying a couple of days ago, he's like, he was telling somebody, from the day that we got this dog, he like attached to Sandy and he just does not want to leave her. Everywhere she goes, he follows her around the house. Might tweet him. You want to say good morning to everybody? Come here. Come and say morning. Since you want to be in the studio, come here, sir. Hello. Oh my goodness. Oh, somebody's getting so fat. Someone is starting to put on some weight. Hold on, honey, chill. There we go. Look at who's starting to put on some weight. He was so tiny for the longest little time. I felt like he was not putting on any weight. Say hello to everybody. Hi. Don't look at me. Look at everybody else. Say hello, everybody. He's got to get to the groomers soon. You see his teary eyes. These breeds always have teary eyes. Yes, I'm starting to get. I might even be. I don't know if he's maybe 10 pounds. I don't know yet. But anyway, look at him. Oh my goodness. Look, he's starting to put on some weight. Before it was all hair. Now I can feel underneath there. Some meat on my little pup. All right, sir. There you go. Thank you very much. Go on the other side and lie down. He literally likes to be right on my foot. If I'm on the sofa, he jumps up and lays right by my foot. Oh my goodness. He's so sweet. Okie dokie. Everybody should have a dog. Get a dog. They're good. They're family. Cameron is in the house this morning. Let's do roll call. Roll call. Miss Renita, good morning. Stephen, good morning. Miss Alba, buenos dias. Stephanie, good morning. Miss Morna. By the way, when I was doing my allergy testing, I had to take a snippet of Zeus's hair to see if I was related, not just to dogs in general, but to Zeus. Thank God, no allergies, because y'all know I would just have to suffer because the dog ain't going nowhere. So thankfully, we're all good. I have other environmental allergies though, so we have to do some more testing, some blood work to see exactly the level of the antigens or whatever, so we can get an idea of the next steps. So for now, to control the allergies, I'm just doing nasal rinses in the morning, nasal spray, and then I saw the ENT earlier this week. He has prescribed some antihistamine to be taken at night to see if at night I can stay less congested. We'll see. I'm not going to take I haven't even gotten the prescription filled yet. I'll do it for the 2 weeks that he suggested and then see how we get on. But I can tell you, I'm not a pill popper. So that will not be something that I'll be able to sustain for longer than the initial 2 weeks. So I hope he doesn't come back and say, oh, you have to take an allergy pill every day, because that ain't going to happen. I'll suck it up, literally, and do the other stuff, the nasal rinses and whatever else. I'll do those as best I can, but I'm not going to pop a pill. Everton, roll call. Damaris from NYC. Diamond Princess, roll call. Leroy, roll call. Miss Pat, good morning. Vanessa McGee. Sorry. How are you? We'll talk. We're going to get to that conversation. So I'm going to star and save your comment. Siobhan, good morning. Miss Lucille, roll call. Patricia Blake, roll call. Roll call. Can I tell y'all? Of course, I saw my Gucci's this morning. One of them I got really close to, and then he heard Zeus and he started to scurry off. But yes, honey child, they're a good size, you know. I must tell you, I'm looking at them going, they are getting plump, but I don't want y'all to know where they're at, because I don't want y'all to come and try and eat the little Gucci's. Leave them alone. All right, roll call. Where was I? Okay, we got a lot to talk about. We were going to have some guests from UCCI this morning, but unfortunately, they are not able to make it, but hopefully they'll come on another day, tell us about some events that they have coming up for their nursing program. Celebrating some big milestones, in fact, as it relates to the nursing program at UCCI. All right, honey chow, who was next on the student list? Cameron is in the house. Russians banned from the Olympics again. Oh, probably. I'm not too sure. Shaka Zulu, good morning. Shaka Zulu's like, I'm here. Barbara G, good morning. Felicia Rankin in the house. Miss Siobhan says, oh, you look lovely. Oh, this is a top that I haven't worn that often, so it might look new to you, but I decided, yes, to wear it today. And we've got some lovely tea. Let me see what kind this is. This one is pomegranate pizzazz. Oh, yeah. Tastes nice. Pomegranate. Nice. All right. Zeus is in the house. Yes. He is literally lying down right by my foot. Sometimes I got to be careful because I'll be trying to run the poor dog over. I'm like, honey, child, don't stand right by my foot, because then you will get ran over. You know, you got to move. Yasmin in the house. Andy, good morning from La Ceiba, Honduras. He is cute, isn't he? Oh, thank you, Jordan. And thank you, Siobhan. Yeah, he is a cutie pie. And he's got the best personality. Now, I'm not going to lie. He doesn't have quite the personality of Coco. Coco was a different dog. And I don't like to compare dogs, just like you shouldn't compare your children, because every dog is different. They have their own little personalities and stuff. But a lot of times, they have similar traits sometimes. And so I even hear my husband compare, oh, Coco was so much smarter. I was like, hey, don't be saying that around Zeus. First of all, he's still a puppy. So he's still learning the ropes. When my husband met Coco, she was already an adult. Like, he came into our life. So she was already there for a number of years, at least for a couple of years before he came around. So, of course she would have been smarter because she'd experienced more and done more. And I'm rolling my foot with an ice water bottle. So yeah, so I'm like, he's gonna get there. You know that dogs can have the intelligence of a 4-year-old, and that's not too shabby. They just don't have the language skills, obviously, but dogs are smart. You can teach them a lot of stuff. Trust and believe. Cameron says he not have more tears than us. Oh Lord, I can assure you he's not crying for any real reasons. We might be crying. Shaka Zulu says, have you considered standing at a vibe plate at your work desk? It's an awesome option for health and wellness. Research it when you get a chance. Oh, well, what I'm actually doing this morning is I am rolling my foot to kind of roll out some of the pain that might be coming a little bit later on. And you know what is funny? Since I've been rolling it, I always talk about the ball of the foot, like that little corner in the side of the toe, like that's where the pain seems to radiate. But since I've been rolling it, I've noticed that there is actually pain for me if I kind of go deep with the roll right underneath like that little groove in the foot. So I think this rolling, it's different than the plate that you're talking about, but I think that this rolling hopefully is going to be good for my foot. Yeah, help to roll out some of the pain and stuff. So that's what I'm doing. But don't tell me about another exercise gadget, honey child, because if y'all know anything about me, I love me an exercise gadget and not even exercising. That's the worst part. But I'll buy it, mind you. So I've seen those before. I have never used one now that you say it, but let me look it up. Hold on. Everybody's like, what? Shaka Zulu, why did you tell Sandy that? Is it actually called a vibration plate? Yes. Okay, let's see now. Vibration plate. Ooh, they got one on sale on Amazon. Save $25 with a coupon. So the idea behind these vibration plates is the whole body workout vibration plate. So I think they challenge you. This one claims that it has lymphatic drainage for weight loss. That sounds a little bit too good to be true, but let's see. So I think the idea behind these is you actually stand on them and they're like plates that they're moving and you have to maintain your balance. So supposedly they give you added core strength because you're using those muscles to balance yourself. According to this, helping with joint and back pain, although they have back misspelled in their little diagram, which makes me suspicious. Probably a Chinese made product. Mind you, it has gotten 4.3 stars from 2,100 people. So develop stronger bones, boost metabolism, improve circulation, decrease stress, and gain mobility and flexibility. All of that and a bag of chips. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to look these up. I'm going to do some independent research. Not just what people on Amazon are saying. And see if they really do work. What do the physicians say? I'll check it out. See if there's any research. They range in price from cheapest one, $70, and go all the way up from there to $400. High frequency, low amplitude, muscles, bones, and nerve training, blood and lymphatic circulation improvement. What makes the $400 one worth it? Because it's ugly. It's actually not a good looking one at all. So I wonder why this one is $400. 10-year warranty. Well, there you go. That's probably the first reason. Lifetime support, they claim. It only has 190 people that have bought it, though. Robust, durable, and reliable. Interesting. And then they tell you people with the following conditions should not use it. Kidney stones, bladder stones. I wonder why. What's it going to do? Like dislodge those stones? A pacemaker, heart disease, epilepsy. Well, that makes sense. Seizures, migraines, retinal detachment, orthopedic injuries, acute arthritis, recent surgery, motion sickness. Yeah, I could see why if you have motion sickness, you wouldn't want to use it. Implant. What kind of implant? That's so weird. That's so random and so weird that they don't tell you anything else. Implant, like boob implant, butt implants, like what kind of implants? All right. Pregnancy. They have a whole list of things that you shouldn't use it for, that you shouldn't use it if you have. This one is kind of 90-day free return, 10-year warranty, straightforward, no out-of-pocket expense for customers for any warranty service. Exercise and activate your musculoskeletal and neuromuscular systems, enhance peripheral blood and lymph circulation. We're going to check it out, honey chow. Thank you, Shaka Zulu, for the recommendation. Good morning, Miss Shamika. Strong Wilt, good morning. Cameron, talking about I have Zeus spoiled already. What else are you supposed to do with a dog but spoil the dog? Come on now. Y'all know this. Oh, man, this roller thing is really, oh, God, even on the side of my foot, I have pain I didn't know I had. Wow. Honey child. Good morning, Miss Emma. Debbie in the house. Wee Wee is here. Olive. Miss Alice says good morning. Zeus, he's so handsome. He is handsome. Cameron says he just can't handle the control room, but he is learning. Aw. Oh, my tweetum. My tweetum. All right. Siobhan says that dog ain't going nowhere, even if you're allergic to dogs, but thank God you ain't allergic to this cutie pup. I know. Good morning, Robert. Gabby's in the house. Good morning, Gab. KK is here. No. Cameron, I'm not even reading that comment. No, behave yourself. Okay, let me just see here now. Hold on one second. I got a lot of videos for us to watch this morning. We're going to go through some news tidbits. Good morning, Keisha. Cameron says we're gonna be coming up with these colors. Color adds the spice of life. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at how big he is. Look at him. And then he started to take off because, of course, unfortunately,
You leave him alone. You made him run.
he was like, "Oh no, I hear something. Let me take off. These people are trying to eat me." And there he goes. But trust me, they can run way faster than
He
that.
started to take off.
There was two over there where he went. Oh, there he is. He's like, these people trying to put me in their Cayman pot. No, sir. Look how he's walking with a little swag. He's a little bonky. He has like a little swag to him. He's like, hey, I can live to tell another day's tale. So there he is. Look. I zoomed in a little bit, but he was actually not that far. Then he went, whoops, time to get the heck out of here. They looking at me funny. Good morning to Miss Juliet. Miss Beulah is in the house. Miss Darlene says, I love dogs, but cats are smarter to me. Oh, don't get me started now, Miss Darlene. We got to have some war in words. They're differently abled. Let's just say that. They're differently abled. Miss Ivra, good morning to you. She said good morning to my classmates. Shaka Zulu is laughing about the Chinese. Says do more research before purchasing. Oh yeah, you all know I'm the research queen. I love to look stuff up, honey child. I need to know what is going on. Cameron says bicycles make good coat hangers. I know. The only thing with me is I'll be the first to say there's nothing hanging on my exercise equipment. It's just not being used. KK says, what's up with the FRU yesterday? Where? I didn't hear about that one, so give me the sus. Some come with Bluetooth music. The little vibration machines? Oh gosh, we don't need all that now. Honey child, we got AirPods and all kind of pods and headphones that still are in the box that haven't been unboxed yet. So, yeah. Everton, good morning. Says some of these gadgets don't work. Don't even waste your money. It's all advertisement. Yeah, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to read outside of the advertisements. Get yourself a walking tub. They're the new hit. A walking tub? What the heck's a walking tub? You're walking in the tub? Why? Some of these things don't even make any sense to me. Why would you walk in your tub? First of all, I prefer showers to tubs. I don't like a tub at all. And secondly, you just, oh yeah, I get a good stretch in that foot this morning. You just get out the tub, get out the shower after you go for a walk. Sonia, good morning. Yes, good morning, Lavana. Jose, buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? Good morning to you, sir. He said, hi, hello, good morning. 3 different posts. Can't even roll your foot without sounding like you just ran a 5K. Cameron, come on. I'm trying to get in there and do like a little stretch at the same time. Oh, yeah. Leroy, please behave yourself. Him and Cameron got pots for my little agoutis. Sophia, good morning. Oh, I posted the video of the FRU. Oh, God, I have to go back and look. It's not always me posting everything, but oh, yes. I know which one you're referring to. Yeah, we don't know what happened there. We have no clue. Good morning, Catherine. How are you? Everton says, trust me. Yes, they have the walking tub. Now you have me curious. What the heck is a walking tub? Let's see if Amazon has it for sale. Walking tub. Walking tub. Hold on. Walking tub. Walk-in baths. That's not the same thing. Foldable baby bathtub. I don't think they're a thing on Amazon yet, from what I can see. I don't see them yet, honey child. But oh my gosh, some of these tubs are so expensive. $6,000. Oh, this is a special one for people in wheelchairs and stuff. Hydro massage, walk in. That's where you walk in. And then you're able to sit with left outward swing door. $6,200 for that specialty tub. Wow. But you know, people with special needs, honey child, they pay a lot for handicap accessible equipment. Oh man. Uh-oh. I think my water bottle is spilling now. You know what I need to purchase? Hold on. Y'all like Sandy? You don't need to purchase anything. I do need to purchase a foot roller that you can freeze or heat, because I suspect heat would also be really good. So let me just look at Amazon real quick. Cold foot roller. Yeah. People use them for plantar fasciitis. The cryo ball, I have one of those already. Restore, what is this? Gaiam, restore hot. How do you heat it up? So this one, yes, that looks good. How is it heated? Provides a kneading effect, relief from tightness, heel spurs, and plantar fasciitis. Place in warm water or in the freezer. Hot and cold relief for 30 minutes. Ooh, let's add that to the cart. Uh-huh. I think that looks good. Ooh, honey chill. Oh, cooling foot massager from plantar fasciitis relief. Oh, this one looks professional. Oh. Can I stand on it though? Because what I'm finding just now, standing and rolling the ball has a different effect than sitting and rolling it, because I'm going super deep when I'm standing because I'm able to put more pressure on it. Restricts blood flow, which can improve circulation. Good morning, caller. Hello, darling. Not bad. You calling the show or you just a personal call? Well, you know, but you know I'm live on the show, right? Yeah. You have to call me later. All right, honey, chill. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, Miss Darlene. She says disabled, not handicapped, please. Appreciate it. Keeping us PC. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Dee Dee, good morning. Walk in. No, he's saying walking, not walk in, because they have walk-in tubs for disabled individuals. He's saying walking tub, like you get in it and you walk, is what I'm assuming, which is like super weird. Yes, Cameron, we don't have a clue about that. Good morning to Paul. How are you? Speaking of Paul, thank you for the photo yesterday. Let me see if I have it handy. Paul is a super fan there in Bermuda, and he was showing us the CMR mug in the studio. Look at that, right next to his microphone. Well, his studio, this is actually, he is a what's it called again, Paul? The radio, ham radio. He's into that sort of thing. So that's all the equipment that you see there. Big shout out to the Ham Radio Association in the Cayman Islands. I interviewed Mr. Eden a couple of years ago now as part of my Cayman Voices series, and he was showing us a little bit about how the whole ham radio community works. And I was so fascinated by it. I must tell you that I, was kind of like, wow, I would love to learn more about it. Maybe that's like retirement plan. That and learning to play the piano are part of my retirement plan. Cameron says shopaholic. That's a disorder too, I know. Trust me, I'm well aware. Cameron says somebody should cancel my Amazon account. Hey. Those are fighting words now, We're at Fresh Joe. Good morning. Morning, Mitzi. It's walk-in tub. You just open the door. Oh, I thought you meant a walking tub, like you were getting exercise in it. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Now that's complete confusion. All right. No wonder y'all were confused. You're like, no, walk-in tub. Oh, yes. I mean, I think they've existed for a very long time. I thought you meant walking, like you had a tub that had like a treadmill style thing in it. And I'm thinking, why would you need that? That is just so weird. Oh, here it is. Don't stand for foot pain. Don't stand. 2 million people a year suffer from foot or arch pain and look for plantar fasciitis. And this unique design allows anyone to experience at home the relief of cooling foot massage. Interesting. It was featured on Shark Tank? My husband makes fun of me all the time. He says that I am a as seen on TV kind of person. It's like you see those commercials, as seen on TV. He's like, oh yeah, you're going to be adding that to your Amazon cart. How many reviews does it have? 704, 3.9. 51% of the people gave it 5-star. 19% gave it 4 stars. I'm going to read up on this a bit more. Interesting. Stays cold. Yes. Instant cooling relief. Ideal for a wide variety of painful foot conditions, including arch, muscle, foot pain, plantar fasciitis, arthritis, tendonitis, and heel spurs. Okay, then. And then they say, make it a bundle. My God. They have a bundle offer for $20 more. You can get this other thing that you probably never use. Huh. Uh-huh. I'm going to put it in my cart just to think about it, but I will be doing additional research. Okay. Not ready to purchase yet, but I'm going to think about it. All right, good folks. Let's close the Amazon tab because we will definitely, as Cameron said, we'll definitely be getting in trouble this morning. Oh my God. Good morning, Scott. Morning, Damien. Cameron says, what am I gonna do when they shut down the internet completely? Don't even mention it. Don't even mention it, please. For security purposes, your PC in the back. I know y'all keep saying that, but who can read anything? Who can actually read anything on that PC? I mean, it has a little bit of a reflection, but y'all can't see what that is. Don't want what Pi info to be visible on the screen. Nobody can't see that. Like, it's because of the angle. I would have to tilt that a different way. And you know what? It actually blows out my on-air sign as well. But you can't really, you see, I had a physical flag there and I thought, oh, for 2024, let's go high tech and put, a proper electronic flag. And then the other thing too, is I could, in theory, let me show y'all something. I'm going to pull up YouTube for a second because technically it's another monitor. So I can drag stuff. It's a little bit weird though, because let me see if I can drag something over to it. You see, I could technically, hold on. I could technically drag stuff on it and play background videos, which I kind of like if I ever decided to do that. I haven't done that yet. The only difference is it's a little bit weird because I'm actually dragging it off of my screen and then I can't really see it here. I'd have to kind of try to make it out in that screen, which is not easy to do. Like, say I wanted to play, I don't know, this video for y'all and then enlarge it. I don't have good control because I actually can't really control and see it that well. And it's a screen that I don't have like in front of me as an additional display. So I'd literally have to turn around. Where's my cursor? And do it that way. So I could, in theory, do that. But how do I get it back? Oh gosh. Y'all done gone and made me mess up the thing now. Hold on. Let me see if I can grab this back. Close it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right. Let me try to close it. But I don't think anybody, listen, y'all would need some serious spy equipment. And I'm going to be honest with you. There really isn't anything on my screen that is earth shattering. Juju not going to be trying to confiscate my screen. Lord have mercy. I do think it says a lot that everybody's so paranoid, though. I'm not really that paranoid. Like, listen, Juju, you want to? Actually, no. I'm not inviting her to my house. I was gonna say you can come sit down. Look, no. Let's not do that. But there's really no secrets around here. We tell y'all everything. There's no state secrets. Okay. Let's talk about a few things. So someone said yesterday, side-to-side monitors or side-to-side, back and front monitors are up and down. Back and front monitors? Huh? Well, I have two monitors here. Back and front monitors are up and down. You kind of confused me with that one. What do you mean? I used to have, was it 3 monitors or 2? I think I've only ever had 2. My husband has 4, 5, 6 monitors at a time that he uses, but he is also an IT expert. So, he needs them for different things, I guess. I don't know who needs 6 monitors, to be honest, but anywho. What I find interesting about, I used to have one that was like a vertical monitor, and that is fantastic for things like Excel documents and stuff, like long documents. I loved it for that. Landscape monitors, yeah. So I don't have this one over here, and I have 2 LG monitors. One is longer, like a wide monitor, and this one is not quite as wide. But I think this is a 32-inch wide or something, but it's like long, right? This one I could flip vertically, but yeah, I don't really use Excel like a whole lot. So, morning, Steve. All right, folks, let's get it. First of all, thank you guys so much. Okay. All right. So someone asked a question yesterday, and I do want to spend some time talking about this. And I'll be honest with you. Sometimes you guys ask questions during the show that I need to sit with for a minute and think about it. And so this was one of those questions. Let me see if I actually screen grabbed it, because sometimes I'll screen grab a question or a comment to try to remember exactly what the person said. So give me 1 second. By the way, Odell reached out yesterday. I know we were trying to get him on the phone, and so he did reach out, and I was confused. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to make y'all listen to it, because saying I'm confused probably doesn't mean anything to you. Like, Sandy, what are you talking about? Hold on. I don't know. It's weird, but this is what he sent me. First of all, he replied at 5:44 to my 9:37 message saying, good morning. He replied back and said, good morning at 5:44. Obviously, it's no longer 5:44, but this is what he said.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
How are you? I was actually asleep when you called this morning and been busy. I haven't been able, but now that the roosters are crowing, and I would actually like to have a talk with you.
Okay.
Yeah, hear the roosters crowing. Do it again, big boy. No, but yeah, so that you can actually walk with me through the walk of arms. All right, thank you. Look forward to hearing from you. See, it's just morning. It's not what you think. We will get back to where we were when you actually come and see and know and see all that is being done. But everything had to happen because it had to show both good and evil, and that which the oppression of good actually causes to happen. So get your notebook. This is not just something for you to journal upon. It is something for you to also observe and learn so that you can bring forth to the sleeping masses.
Anybody else confused? I don't know. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know. I have no idea what any of that means. I was like, huh? Yes, I sure am, says Miss Sue. Siobhan says, notebook, I'm confused. I'm not confused, just dumbfounded. What's the difference? Alejandro, boy, that's a different kind of thing that he's smoking. I don't know. Morning, Marshall. Alejandro says, why hearing you? The funny part was when he's like, oh, you hear the roosters crowing? That means that it's morning. I'm like, yo, roosters crow 24/7. That does not mean that it's morning. Just because they're crowing, they're confused. Hopefully they're not on crack, but anyway, they confused too. So I would probably say that we have absolutely not gotten any further ahead than we were yesterday. We're just confused. Morning, Miss Yulene. How are you? I don't know. I told him I'd call him, but my brain can't take too much confusion. So anyway, Siobhan says I have more questions than answers at this point. Yeah, unfortunately, Shells. Yep. I'm confused. I don't know what to say. Stay away from drugs, folks. So Alejandro's like, who well, Alejandro said, who that is, you say? That's Odell. Remember we were trying to call him yesterday because the woman called about her money. I'm afraid to call back because I'm like, yo, I call back and you start to have a conversation like that. I don't know what to say. Shall we try calling him? Because I'm just focused on the woman's money. But I'm afraid that we might get more than we bargained for. So I'm hesitant to call. Ay. All right. Let me try calling him. I think the problem is he doesn't wake up till evening time. Let's see. We're gonna have to have an evening show.
Morning.
Hey, Odell, good morning. First of all, before we get started, you are live on radio because we've been trying to call you. A lady called the radio yesterday asking for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to call you.
Do I live there?
Live where? On the radio?
I don't understand where I don't understand why would somebody be calling you for me. Do I live there? I don't live on Mall Road. Apparently, you're not trying to actually make me a full-time resident. But anyway, we'll work with that.
Oh, that's a good joke. I like that one. Do
Well,
I
you know
live
me.
there? Yeah, man. No, listen.
Yeah.
I probably don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with you this morning, but what I do want to ask is, this lady inquired about some money that she gave you back in December.
And she will be dealt with today. And there's a message in all of it. And when we do have that interview where you will actually, I'll invite you to actually walk with me. It's called it's the, you know what, you have your read in the Bible where it say, if you're at odds with thy brother, go and pay alms to thine brother before you actually come and bring thine offering to God. Okay. So that is called a day of alms, something that we have not done. So the process is going to be carried out to show how to actually reconcile and fix things so that you can move forward, because you cannot go and seek of God without actually making sure that all the reconciliation is done first. So everything will be shown and you will actually get. So just hold on to an immortal senses and not seem to get ahead of yourself, because you really don't know what is going on. So sometimes it is best to stand and watch than to sit and judge.
So,
and I will leave you with that.
Okay. So in terms of the
So we will
woman,
talk later.
no, but wait. Let me just clarify. The only thing I really want to clarify is in terms of the woman with
Mhm.
her money, you're saying that you're going to sort her out today.
That's what I said.
Okay.
I was to actually have done it yesterday, but like with many things, when people don't do what they're supposed to do, it actually impact and impedes others. And when we are, as I said, to stand and watch as opposed to sit and judge, then you would actually get to understand the fullness. I have over 200 people that owe me, that I was not able to collect from, that holds onto my money with their entitled feeling because they think they have a right to withhold that which is mine, which then causes me in a situation to withhold from others that which is theirs. So while you are looking at the one that actually took the bread from out of the window, what about all the people that are standing with my bread that disable me from eating? Has anyone ever thought about that? But no, because
Well,
you all see what you all see, you all feel validated in judging me.
no.
Well, tell those
We're not.
200 and odd
Let
somebody
me
who owe
ask you a
me my
question.
money.
All right. Let me ask you a question,
Okay.
Odell. Right? Because I mean, I do want to understand what it is you're saying, and I have to tell
Do you
you.
really though? Do you really?
No, I do because
Okay.
you know that I'm a business person. You know that you and I have
Yes.
had
And you,
some
and
dealings,
you,
right?
and
So,
Sandra, you know me, and I know you. In
well,
terms of what people perceive to be of you. Listen, you never know someone's, the
mhm,
span, how wide the span, the emotion span is, and the various emotions that are within there.
mhm.
Okay. Well, until you actually journey through that,
Yeah, and I don't want to
it
say
is
that
hard.
I don't want to say that I understand anything that you're going through. So that's why
Thank you. Thank
part of
you.
me doesn't
Thank
want to
you.
go down that rabbit hole. But I mean, when it comes to the business side of things, I do have some questions. And so this is why now I'm trying to ask you, right?
And we will get to all of that when we actually discuss later because I would like
But
for you
people
to
just
be
want their
there
money.
as
People are like, listen, I just want my money. I don't want explanations and excuses. I just need my money. If I gave
no,
you
that
money
is
for
the problem. It is
service,
not what it is, and I would have loved mine. You know how long I would have loved mine without the explanation or the excuses. You know how long I would have loved
but hold on now. You went into a
mine.
business,
You know how long I would have loved my five
but
hundred thousand
hold
dollar.
on. You went into a
All right,
business
so
of
here's what
loaning.
I say.
No, but Odell, let's be fair
Right?
now. You went
Mm,
into a business of
let's be
loaning
fair.
people money. Yes.
Hmm. Let
And
us be fair.
yeah, you went into a business of loaning people money that comes with a degree of risk. So if a lot of those people owe you money, that's the risk that you took on getting into that business. The people who have given you money for the provision of services, they weren't gambling with their money. They're paying you X amount to get X service.
And what you are saying is absolutely correct, but life does not work that way, right? Because if I need to eat, and Sandra, we can
Mhm.
sit here and you can actually count apples with apples. But at the end of the day, if the basket is empty, you carry the basket to the well? Can you carry water in the basket?
Mhm. Well, I mean,
Okay.
yes, but at the end of the
Well,
day,
you go and with the basket that I was given to carry the water. Guess what I figured out? The basket can hold the water, and for the one that need to consider whether or not I am a born Caymanian or not, they need to not worry about the born Caymanian and worry about that which is actually in the system set to actually exterminate the true Caymanian. If she so wanted to find out about the born Caymanian, they need to look into the exterminating program that they are currently living under, that has seen the decrease in the number of childbirth per year in Cayman, that has reduced significantly, decreasing the significantly
uh-huh.
its shelves
I mean,
in
yes,
Europe.
all of those might be important issues, but right now we're just trying to focus on how people can get
anyone
How
talking
people
about?
can get
Like
their
I said, we are going to get to my
All right.
thing in
Let me understand
in
what
the
you're
walk of
saying.
arms that
Let
I
me
am inviting you to.
hold on. Let me understand what you're saying. So you're saying you don't have the money because you have to eat and all these other things. So why take people's money if you know?
No.
Hello?
It is not under the circumstances on which are you hearing me?
Yes, you were breaking up for a little bit there.
Yeah. No, I say what we're not going to do is, as I said, we're not going to do that because nothing started out that way. I did not willfully, intentfully to get set out to take anything of anyone's. Okay? I did not. So you basically could stop angling from that perspective.
This isn't about willful or intentionally trying to do it. If you do it,
the rain that fall, pick up the rain that fall.
Pick up the rain that falls. What am I supposed to do with that?
Oh no, Sandra, you're not ready for me, baby. Pick up the rain that fall.
Lord Jesus, I'm definitely not ready for you because I don't even understand what the hell you're talking about. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm confused.
All right.
But what does that have to
do with
the people
which has been done? The rain that fell has already fallen.
Yes, and
what
you're saying
you can do is
you can
then
do anything about
decide. But am I not doing something about it? Did I not tell you that I will be giving that lady her money this afternoon?
Okay.
Did I not just say that earlier in the conversation?
No, you did not. You just said it's going to be handled, and
I did not ask me if the woman going to get her money?
Okay.
Did you not ask me if the woman is going to get her money?
I wanted us to be crystal clear. And now you have said she's going to get her money this afternoon. Now
but
I can
answered you.
You didn't answer directly, my son.
Yes.
But now that you've answered directly and you say that she's going to get her money today, this afternoon, we're good.
Yes.
All right. Now we're good. Understand?
We've been good. I don't know about you.
No,
we've been good. I've been good. I've been great. But it is okay to seek clarity.
Lord have mercy.
Welcome. Yeah, Lord have mercy. As I say, when you figure that one out, go pick up the rain that fell. Well, we'll talk later. Have a blessed one.
Thank you, Odell. Thank you so much. I'm sure she's glad to hear that.
And as I said, I am going to invite you to do the walk of arms.
Lord Jesus. Okay.
It's going to be entertaining and quite educational for many because we seem to have that tendency within society. You see, people do things and they don't make reconciliation. They kind of just turn their backs on it in hopes for it to actually go away. And it is not just people because it starts at the top. You know? There we go.
Oh my gosh.
I look forward to speaking with you later. And when we start that walk, all right?
Thank you, Odell. Appreciate it.
You can go and go laugh now.
All right, my dear. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I wish that this was a laughing matter, to be honest, but this is sad, is what this is. There's not nothing to laugh about. This is like a, oh my God moment, WTF times 50. This is a what the heck did I just listen to? No, sir. Him say, me not ready for the craziness for true. I would have to agree that I'm just not ready. Somebody says, my boy is a perfect example of talking yet saying nothing. Cameron says he's taking Sandy to church. Honey child, I don't know what kind of church that is. The Church of Confusion is not a church. Ms. Velva says, what kind of religious stupidness is he saying because someone owes him, he refuses to pay? He's a crooked businessman. The Bible laborer is worthy of his pay. 1 Timothy 5:18. Quote the Bible, girl. Honey child. Yeah, he said, me not ready. Sandy, you not ready. Leroy says, can someone hit the reset button? Matt says, well, he's put himself in that position. You see, this is a thing that I'm confused about because unfortunately, he was in the business of loaning people money, like a cash to payday business, and he wasn't ready. And as a result of him not being ready, people have lost a lot of money. Listen, the people who have lost money, it's not Odell. You decide to take on this high risk business, that's on you, because that's the nature of that business. You loan money to people who don't have money. How you think that's going to work out for you? I don't know why anybody in their right sense does loan to payday businesses. It doesn't make good business sense. I know you're thinking, oh, I'm going to charge them 25, 30% interest on a 3-week or month-long loan. That's a lot of money. It don't make no difference what interest you're charging if those people never pay you back, because now you're out of the principal plus the interest. So that business model is faulty at best. And unless you're holding on to some serious collateral that you can change over and get your money back ASAP, then you out of luck. And I mean collateral, like have them bring in something that is worth the value of what they are borrowing and then some, that you can flip and know in a guarantee type of way that you're going to get your money back. So the business is very, very high risk. Trust me, nobody in their right mind gets into that business. There's other businesses that you can make a decent profit at without the risk. So that's on him. He's the one who decided to do a loan to payday business. So I can't feel sorry for you choosing to enter a business that is risky, and then you come to find out the risk is legit risk, right? But that doesn't have anything to do, like you can't commingle different aspects of your business like that. Somebody comes in and pays you for services, because that was another business that he was running, separate business license. How are you going to talk about all these people owe you money, so therefore you can't pay this person? Or more importantly, because they're paying you for service, simply deliver the service. The woman would not be asking you for her money had you done what you needed to do in terms of the service. But here she is now, December, she said she gave it to him, January, February, March, into 3 months, and she can't get her money. So that is the difference. Y'all need some business 101 skills. Yeah? What a mess. What a mess. It don't make no sense. It really doesn't make any sense. And then the other thing is, unfortunately, Odell has borrowed a lot of money from so-called investors who were buying into that loan to payday business foolishly. And he's not been able to pay those people back. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. Boy, I never heard as much BS in all of my life.
Wow.
Now,
and how old are you? How old are you, ma'am?
Me?
Yes. It's been a long life.
Yeah, I'm 71 and happy to say so.
And you have not heard anything like this in your life. Wow.
Nope, because when I was growing up and getting into a teenage, we only lent each other clothes or borrowed each other's clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if it was the latest shoe or something and it fit, and we exchanged stuff. But that man sounds like he's a real sweet talker. If I were you, I wouldn't entertain people like that on your radio, because we need to hear more positive things from a BS like him. I wonder if he's the same person that's doing all this shipping to Jamaica, and it claims that it stays on the dock, and then the government takes over before he could even get it to the people that was sent to in Jamaica. And unfortunately for the Jamaican people, because it sounds like that's a Jamaican doing it to a Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
It really, how can the government give a license, or if he does have a license to do something like that? That's another thing that is tearing Cayman down. But
let me tell you why it's important to call and understand, not necessarily understand him, but to call and talk to people like this, is because just like how this woman didn't know in December that she should have never given him her money. I knew that by December that nobody in their right mind would be giving this man money. We need to warn people. We need to warn people. We need to educate people.
Thank you. You got that right. But on another positive note, I don't know if you've heard or about Captain Marvin tour operation, but his boats went out on a tour, evening tour, Tuesday night, and they, along with the crew, they had 19 people on board. And when they got near Starfish Point, they seen fire. Now it sounds to me like Starfish Point had on that area had people living there. I guess, the foreign people living there, and how they seen a fire. And as they got near to Starfish Point, the fire was bigger and bigger. So him and all the...
Do we have any idea? There's a few people curious to know. Do we have any idea what actually started the fire?
No, but I say this, that I wonder though, when they called the firemen and the firemen couldn't get through to them because of this gate, I wonder if Starfish Point is a gated community, or whether that is some people that live here and putting gates and fence across beach accesses. Because I know our firemen are good, and I know that they work hard at what they have to do. I also know that Captain Marvin and his crew, they are very good at what they do, and I want to congratulate them. And I want to say also, thank them and thank the firemen for what they try to do. But I'm still pondering if that was another, because our beach access, which the government or the minister responsible for tourism need to check into this about our beach access. And I know a few that is cut off by chain link fence. Okay? Bogasan has two of them. Bogasan in West Bay. I guess you know where that is, right? They have two. Down in there, you can't even get to turn around. Sometimes you have to reverse till you're nearly out, and then try to turn around in somebody's yard. But it's so many accesses that we need that open, The government not paying no attention to it. The minister of tourism not paying no attention to it. He just paying attention how many people that we can get here that don't spend anything except the cruise ship, including the cruise ship people.
Well, let's
walk
rein,
up and down.
Yeah, let's rein it in a little bit. I think you've gone off on more topics than one, but I think we get the point. And we're gonna keep an eye on that situation. Thank you so much, caller. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I thank you too, Sandra. I thank you, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, my dear. Okay, 936-2626. Reading some comments here this morning. Lots of comments coming in. Okay. Where do we begin? Let me see. Blackberry says he's the king of deflection. Michael says refer that one to Dr. Lockhart. Involve the police immediately about the money. Dewart says this dude is a scammer. Cameron says this is a call center call or what? Because, that's where all the scammers are at the call center. Brilliant Sound says this guy's a scammer and talks like a pimp. Sweet and buttery. Irvelin says he's the biggest scammer them playing church. Ooh, Irvelin sounds like you got experiences with him. I would never listen to him speak, not even prayer I want from him. Wow. Wanda says, boy, I think I needed to smoke something to understand what his riddles are all about. He was starting to sound a little bit like John, to be honest. All these confusing donkey riding riddles got me confused. Strong Will says, Sandy, he got you confused. Yes, I'm going to be the first to admit it. Mr. George Sinclair, good morning. Says, good morning, Sandy. I'm in Hillshire, Portmore, watching my favorite show, Kim and Mall Road. Love it. Thank you, Mr. George. Be safe. Rush C says, this is how Sandy likes to entrap people. Oh, hear this now. She needs people to say certain words to fulfill her satisfaction in whatever case she's trying to make. Okay. For example, the guy said he will deal with the person money. That's not enough for Sandy. Sandy needs to hear you say, I will pay the woman today. So she can turn around and say, I have you on record saying that you would pay the person back. And Rough sees what exactly is the problem? That's called establishing clarity. And yes, I'm a person by nature, in fact, even before I had that law degree, who likes to be very clear in my communication. It got even worse once I got the law degree and I see how things can turn on a single word being left out. You need that level of clarity when you're dealing with people. And I encourage everyone to be very, very clear in their communications with people. If somebody says something to you and you're not quite sure what they said, or that they're going to be paying her back, you go back and you say, so am I understanding? This is one of the tenets of being a good communicator, in fact. So thank you, Rough Seas. I'll take it as a compliment. You go back and you say, am I understanding you to say? And you paraphrase what you thought the person said. And then that gives them an opportunity to clarify, to say, no, actually, that's not what I said, or that's not what I meant to say. What I mean is blah, blah, blah. Communication 101. It's one of the things that we teach in effective communication classes all the time. Seek to understand what the other person is actually saying. And just because you think you hear one thing doesn't mean that that's what the person actually said. Siobhan said he sounds intelligent, but them drugs got him messed up, yo. My God, my head hurt from hearing all that. Not gonna lie. Magnum Opus said he basically admitted that he knew he was in a financial bind, but yet accepted money for services he knew he couldn't deliver. Good morning, Eddie Powell, joining us from the Philippines. So I would encourage all of you to seek to clarify. It has nothing to do with, oh, you're trying to entrap someone. You know who says foolishness like that? Politicians. That who talks about entrapment, Rough Seas. If you're seeking to clarify what someone has said, so you're crystal clear, and there's no room for, that's not really what I said, you know. How is that entrapment? How can you entrap somebody with words that are coming out of their own mouth? Don't be coming no foolishness around. You know. Clarity is key, says Romeo. Preach it, Sandy. Yes, Where's my hallelujah button? Oops. Clarity is key, folks. Always seek to clarify. You'd be surprised. People, you sit down at people and you have a conversation with them. They're saying one thing, you think you're hearing this, and that is not what they mean at all. A lot of y'all would do better in your relationships if you actually tried this approach. Trust me. Summarize and paraphrase. It's actually part of the guidebook on active listening. When you actively listen, this is how. Let me tell you all a story. Gather around, children. It's story time. Good morning, Denny.
Morning. Before you get into your story, when you say clarity, you mean like a walking tub or a walk-in tub?
Right? Exactly. You see how communication can go? I read walking, W-A-L-K-I-N-G, and he actually meant walk in. And here I am talking about a walk-in tub. That don't make no sense. No wonder it didn't make any sense, because that's not what he was even talking about.
Later.
Thank you, my love. Siobhan says, I agree. Best to have clarity. What is wrong with clarity? Clarity that should be the rule of the day, every day when it comes to communicating. Gather around, children. Come on in, Shaka Zulu. Come on in, Alejandro. We're going to have everybody in IG gather a little bit closer. I'm going to tell you all a story about what happens when you have lack of clarity. So as you guys know, good morning, Miss Faith. I had a business called Micromatrix. Oh gosh, we go way back over 20 years now. I had a location in West Bay in Centennial Towers. I was actually the first tenant outside of Subway, which is that's owned by the building owners. I was the first tenant to actually move in. Yes. So it was like a small business services. We did like faxing back in those days, scanning of documents. We had an internet cafe. So most people, that's what they came for, the kids, and everybody came to do homework, internet cafe, whatever. So we were there for, I think, about 7 years. In fact, there's a mural on the wall. Let me do a big shout out to Gordon Solomon. When I was doing all my little fitting out and everything, I had to do everything because I got a shell of a unit. There was not even tile on the floor. Probably the tile that's there now is a tile that my money put that flooring on. Tiling, baseboards. Big shout out to Denny's mother, Miss Carolyn. She would go there with her and her husband, and they were helping me in the evenings. This is the hustle now. This is the hustle that y'all don't know nothing about, right? Good people would go there and help me put down baseboards. There's a guy who used to work at Caledonia. I can't remember his name now. He was helping me set up the networking and the IT infrastructure for all the computers to be on the cafe software. Yep. This was the hustle. There for 16-hour days trying to get stuff together. Anywho, at one point I was hiring some staff. So I tried to give our own Caymanians, a little job, a little opportunity. They come and steal from me. Talking about they wanted to go to school and they wanted the flexibility of leaving the West End. What I didn't know is they were at the West End stealing money from the West End. Nobody told me that. So then they came and stole like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. Not even of my money, but of money. I think it was Money Express at the time. Was it Money Express? Stole the people their money out of the safe. Real finger thieves, Caymanians. You know who you are, girl, and you still a thief. Got away with it too because the prosecution's so slack that the jury allowed her to walk. Anyway, let me not get down that rabbit hole, that agouti hole. So, I had hired this Filipino lady, very, very nice lady. In fact, she's still on this island to this day. Every once in a while, she works in restaurants and stuff. Every once in a while, I'll run into her. I've always liked her, very nice personality. But when she first, so I think was the first person that she worked for coming to Cayman. So her English back in those days wasn't the best. But let me tell you why it's important, rough seas, to do what I do and ask questions in a particular way. So she came, I had a couple days of like training. So I remember the time I called France Matters and I said, hey, France, I'm not too sure about her skill set. You know, they come with these resumes. They claim they can do this. So I want to try her out for a couple of days. Can I do that without paying her? And she understands you're not getting paid for that. But I want to see if you can actually do the work. Then I'll take out the work permit and then I'll start paying you by law. But I don't want to get in trouble with immigration. France said, yeah, you can actually do that. You know, if the person understands and that's the agreement. So I said, okay. So we did that. And I thought, all right, yeah. You know, every time I would ask her a question, she would always say, shake her head and say, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. One day now, I sent her to immigration. Hear me, about to get locked up. An immigration officer calls me and says, Miss Sandy, this woman says, da, 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 da. And I said, what? About her working. I'm like, but that's not right. That's not what happened. That's not correct. Well, I'm asking her and she's telling me yes. I said, oh, really? Okay. And I said, instead of you asking her the question and having her tell you yes, why didn't you ask her to explain to you what happened? That's a different question, isn't it? All of a sudden, they flip the question because this is the problem when you ask closed-ended questions. And lawyers do this all the time. When you ask a closed-ended question, you can only get a yes or no response. Now, they do it for different reasons. They do it because they only want a yes or no response, and they're building up to a point that they're trying to make. She was saying yes to everything. So, in fact, I even said to her, to the immigration person that called me, I said, ask her anything that sounds ridiculous and see what her response is going to be. Right? Ask her if you can rob her next week of her money. And sure enough, I don't know what they asked her. They asked her some stupid question. And she said, yes, ma'am. She said, yes, ma'am. And they were like, what? She was saying yes, ma'am, to everything. So they looked at her documentation and whatever. They made an assumption. They asked her a closed-ended question. And she has been instructed by God knows who that the way to survive in the Cayman Islands is to say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, to everything that people ask you. The immigration officer was like, okay, never mind. I see the problem. So you don't ask questions without seeking to clarify, rough seas. That is a good thing to do, I can assure you. Cameron says communication is one of these keys. Trust me. Shaka Zulu says, yes, people need to learn this important life skill. Preach. Matt says, just another wise ASS. Strong Wilt says, yes, Sandy, especially when you're recording the person, let them repeat themselves. You are so right. Y'all would be surprised. People like to talk. The problem is, just like Odell, people like to talk in circles a lot of times when they think that they're trying to fool you and they don't make no sense. Politicians are very, very famous for doing this. And this is why I put the question to them again in a different way. And you've seen them come on the show. Well, that wasn't your first question, Sandy. I said, that's why I'm clarifying. That's why I'm being more specific, because I want a specific answer. I want to make sure that I am asking the question clearly, because maybe that was my fault for posing the question in the way that I did. So it's not about entrapment. It's about seeking clarity. It's as simple as that. Everton says, I think the guy needs to share that puff puff. Don't be stingy. No, sir. Poor, even Alejandro confused. He said he gonna be rolling a double joint or whatever this morning, and he gonna be passing that around to Leroy and Gabby and everybody else. What a hot mess. Siobhan says, or actually commute because the majority of people fail to communicate. Ms. Perla says, I hope young generation, understand the definition of clarity. Strong Wilt says, it's one of the tenets of writing, the 3 C's of writing. Actually, I think now there's 4 C's. But, not just writing. Oh, God, they've gone up to 7 C's now? Lord have mercy. There only used to be 3 C's of writing back in the day. Now they have 7 C's of communication. Let's review, since we are here this morning. I I love these learning and teachable moments, don't you? Y'all like, not really, Sandy, but anyway, we'll take it. Listen, nothing wrong with throwing in some little life lessons here, there, and everywhere. The 7 C's of communication. Step on up, Professor Sandy. Step on up. Here we go. Y'all ready? 7 C's. Here we go. Clear. Everybody got it? Clarity is always number 1. Concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. Now, there's no mistaking why clarity is number 1. Because unfortunately, a lot of us, when we communicate with other people, we miss the mark completely. We completely miss the mark. How many times have you not gotten in an argument with your mama, your papa, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, even just friends, because there was no clarity? Because you know what happens when you're communicating with someone? You're sitting there talking to them or talking at them, which is probably better, and you're not actually listening to them when they speak. And what most people do, and I'm guilty of this, guilty, raise my hand, I'm guilty. What most people do is when someone is talking to them, they are in their minds focused on how to respond. They're not actively listening, They're like, okay, I am going to start thinking in my brain a comeback, a response. That's why a lot of times, and I do it all the time, you interrupt people before they're even done. Because you're like, no, I got my comeback ready. Sometimes you just have to pump the brakes, actively listen to what the person is saying. And first, before you seek to respond or rebut what they're saying, you first need to seek to clarify what is being said. Capiche? I'm just saying. Don't get up in your feelings, honey child, about entrapment. This not no detective show. It's the cold, hard truth. Stephanie says you shut them down with circular questions. It's not even circular questions. It's just clarifying questions. And what you find is a lot of people just are not willing to. If you go back and heard what he said, I did not hear him say. He's like, oh, he got sorted out today. What does that mean? That's why I asked the question, what do you mean by sorting her out? Because to me, sorting somebody out could be anything. You can sort somebody out by blocking them on your phone. What does sorting out mean to him? That's why I needed him to commit and say exactly what sorting out meant and what his intentions were. Good morning, caller.
That's every time that happens to me. Every time I talk to my wife.
Is your wife there listening to you this morning? Oh, my goodness. Valva says, we understand it clearly, but riddle and indirect speech leave their minds to think and ask questions. And unfortunately, because he was speaking in riddles this morning, right? And indirectly, I'm like, why is he even speaking like this? Normally you speak like that when you're trying to confuse people. I'm just saying. When you try to confuse people, you don't want to speak clearly. You don't want to get to the point. You don't want to leave like zero room for miscommunication. Pat says active listening skills are vital. Clarity sounds like understanding. It's part of it. Siobhan says, I've gotten into arguments, not just for clarity, but because I try to express myself and people think I'm looking an argument. Darn idiots. And some people don't like you to ask questions. It's so interesting. A lot of people are like, what are you asking me questions for? I have that. There's somebody in my life who does that to me. Like whenever we have a conversation, serious conversation, I ask a question, they get offended that I'm asking a question. I'm like, why are you getting offended? I'm trying to understand. But again, because they don't want to be precise in what they're trying to express to me. They want to leave it open to the imagination. I'm like, no, I'm not an imagination kind of person. tell me exactly what you mean. And then I need to understand what you're saying by asking questions. Romeo says, I love me some story time. Look at this other somebody said that, I think it was Michael, says, yes, unfortunately, that's typical Filipinos. And I have realized that not only is it a language issue, but it is also one of culture. So in the Filipino culture, they believe in being yes people and that makes you happy. So they're going to just be saying yes to any and everything when that's not actually what they really mean or what they feel or what they want to say. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, boy, Sandy, morning.
Morning.
I think it like the Americans, the Americans, they don't want to hear no explanation. They want that answer right away. You ask question, they ask a question, they don't want to hear the explanation. So I don't even know if it understanding they want to hear. They just want to answer, right? So understanding comes in with the attention span, I think, as well. So
yeah.
I
mean, but okay, short and sweet this morning. Go on through, Alejandro. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there should be you should seek to leave no room for misunderstanding if proper communicating is actually your end goal. If you're not really interested in communicating with someone, that you don't care what confusion brings, right? And I think that, I was just saying that culturally everybody's different. I think for me, it's more of some of it is because of my academic and professional life, why I'm like this. And other of it is actually, my personality is like, I need to understand, right? I'm a person who needs to understand things. And that's why I tell you guys all the time, when, I'm a communicator. When I'm up in my feelings, I'm not a physical person. I'm not that person who's going to be beating people up and attacking me. That's not, but I need to talk. That's why this show is like perfect for me because I get to talk, and what is in my head, I get to work it out and put it out there in one shape or another. Listen, the worst thing to do in the world would be for me not to talk, because then I would really go crazy and God knows do what. Y'all would be locking me up in jail for sure if I couldn't ever talk. You can imagine not being able to talk. Oh my God. Live says he wanted to obfuscate the matter. Coming up with the big words this morning. Yes, sir. Bring it on. Bring it on. And maybe that's why I was always attracted to the legal profession, because I find that it is one of deeply rooted in communication. And I told you guys this story about my mentor in high school, Judge Castor, said to me when I was like, okay, well, what do I study for pre-law or whatever? USF didn't actually have a pre-law program, but I was looking at some other universities that did. He said, don't take pre-law. He said, that's a waste of your time. He said, become an English major. English, learning how to write and communicate clearly, concisely, all those things is important when you're a lawyer. Have you ever gotten a letter from a lawyer and you read it and you had no idea what the lawyer was talking about? You have no idea what the lawyer said? Because those individuals went to law school and they didn't understand the art of communicating, none at all. They didn't become an English major. So they love to write in what we call legalese. They use all these fancy herewith and therefores and, all these big legal terms. And they could have said it in such a simpler way that would have left the reader of the letter fully understanding what they were saying. When you communicate with people, the reason that you're communicating isn't for yourself. It's actually for your audience. And this is why people go array with their speeches and everything else. They get it wrong, right? They're communicating for themselves. Like, oh yeah, I like how this sounds. I want to throw this word in there. You got it. Rule number one of speech writing and communication is know thy audience. Who are you speaking to? Same thing with the CMR platform. Y'all don't think that we could write articles or highfalutin university level using words like obfuscate and all this kind of stuff. Y'all be sitting there scratching your head. What does that even mean? If I just say it's not clear or it's unclear, doesn't that make more sense than using the word obfuscate, which y'all don't know what the heck that means? It's the same thing. It's a synonym. but know thy audience. If I'm delivering a speech to a university audience, that's different, right? PhD students, they're academics, that's different. The average person on the street wants to be very, very clear. So we know that our readers, some might not have a high school education, some might not be university educated, some might be, but English isn't their first language. So they might look at a word and go, I don't know what that word means. And then we utilize the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. That goes back to clarity. Just keep it simple. We don't have to confiscate our lives in order to articulate with each other. You know, that's the wrong way of using articulate, by the way. Articulate would be coming from me. You don't articulate with people. Okay. Communicate with people, right? I don't have to use big words for y'all to understand what it is that I mean. And sometimes I chuckle when I hear people trying to impress other people by using big words, and they're actually completely using it in the wrong context. Shaka Zulu says Cayman school system never introduced students to the art of debate, etc. Therefore, young adults end up with the lack of proper conflict resolution. Well, we can see that. That's why they're out there beating each other up. Cameron says, how does your feelings affect any of us, honey chill? Because we're Caymanians, we the real communicators. I don't think Caymanians tend to communicate very well at all, if the truth be told. What a hot mess. Pop some big words, pandem, says Cameron. Velva says he just downplayed the situation. He didn't admit nor disown it. Also, he suggested that in the past by asking you to pick up the rein, yet he wants to educate you on his business practices. Listen, the whole thing was very, very confusing. It was extremely confusing. And the whole analogy of the rain, I don't know what that has to do with the price of rice in China. Okay? To me, this is very, very simple. The fact that people owe you money has no bearing on you owing people money. We've talked about this before. Remember, there's a contractor on here who was saying, oh, you don't know the people that owe me money? And I said, what does that have to do with anything? When you take on a construction job, you have to know that you have sufficient money in the bank to make payroll, so that even if that person is late with your payments, you know, and listen, I'm a business owner, so I get it. You do need the flow of money coming in order to pay people. Sandy dumbing down her listeners. Nice, says Eve. Again, I don't think you understood what I just said at all. Nobody said anything about dumbing down your listeners. What I said, seek first to understand before you are understood. You're not understanding, Eve. What I actually said is that it is important to know your audience. So because I know the audience that we have is a mixed bag of individuals, the KISS principle works best. Because you can read up, but you can't, sorry, let me say that the other way around. You can read down, but you can't necessarily read up when it comes to communication. So we are making sure that the least common denominator, and I'm going to tell you one thing, Eve, this is why young people from 9 years old be walking up to me, sometimes even younger, talking about how much they love CMR. Because they can tune in, they can listen, and they can probably understand 90% of the conversation and what is going on. So they feel included. They feel like they can participate. You know that 9-year-olds that walk up to me, oh my God, Miss Sandy, can I take a picture? I'm your biggest fan. I'm like, you read? You are? They're like, yes. And I listen to your show, Miss Sandy, and da-da-da-da. We don't have to be no highfalutin. Oh, we want to be the most educated newspaper in the Cayman Islands. Break it down for people. That is the reason why sometimes I feel like I spend in my head an exorbitant amount of time, that's throwing a big word for you college educated people, trying to explain things to people. Because I want people to understand what is the benefit of me sitting here talking at you. Communication is a two-way process, you know. It is a live thing. That's why when they talk about active listening, you know what the word means, actives? You're involved. Yeah? It's not a static process where you sit there and you're talked at and you just take it all in. It is a two-way street. And in fact, we are communicating with people all the time, even with just our body language or facial expressions, our tone of voice, not just the words that you use. And so these things, in my opinion, are extremely important. So much is lost in the world because of poor and misguided communication efforts. I'm always here talking about our government communicating and their press releases and blah, blah, blah. Let me ask y'all a question here today. Serious question now. This is a good segue. There's a press briefing yesterday on the minimum wage. How many of you watched it, first of all? Everybody watched it? We had it live. Let me go check some numbers and see what kind of traction it got. So 3.1 thousand people watched it on Facebook, okay? How many of you that watched it actually walked away understanding all that was said in that press conference yesterday? The truth of the matter is, one of the reasons this morning show started during COVID as a daily show is because I saw a need in the community for people to have a daily debriefing of the talk shows to understand what was going on. Literally, people would message me and they'd say, Sandy, I just watched this press briefing this morning and I have no idea what I just watched and what I heard. I don't understand any of it. And I was like, okay. So that means then that we need to talk it out. You have an opportunity to ask questions. One of our most popular shows during COVID, big shout out to, oh Lord, what's her name now? Over from Saxon Insurance. Help me out here. Kim Mannion. Oh Lordy. Oh, she has a little daughter that's on age with Gigi. She's vice president, I think, of the Pension Association. What's her name again? Alice Ramos, right? Alice came on the show and Alice explained to people how this whole pension withdrawal thing was going to work. Because after the MPs did their bit, y'all were confused. Nobody understood anything about it. Y'all were like, huh? Miss Sandy? We don't understand. At that time, we still had the, let me see if I can find the video. We still had this would have been 2020. We still had the evening show, right? So Alice came on the evening show back in 2020 and she did answer your questions. She explained everything. Everybody was like, oh my God, Miss Sandy, I now understand. There were so many questions that people simply didn't have answered during the press conference. And what was explained, they simply did not understand. Thank you, Alice. Because Alice, what I find with her, especially when it comes to the law, she breaks it down in common language and it's very, very easy to understand. Laws tend to be convoluted. Laws confuse people because once again, they're not writing it for the common person. It's being written by lawyers who have a particular type of training. Most of them have no communication training whatsoever, right? And again, they love to use all these legal fancy words. Subject to subsection 5, subsection AB, and you're like, huh? So you got to go read subsection 5 AB first, and then that tells you this could be subject to that, and it's like, huh? Complete confusion. Shaka Zula says, Eve, pay close attention. Auntie Sandy speaking truth to the Kimanian reality. She knows her demographic quite well. Listen, if I want to be talking to academians, I would be a university professor for real. This classroom that y'all are in, this is the school of hard knocks, honey child. We all trying to figure it out together. Okay? This is not me talking to a group of university students. And I I know that the messaging is working when people walk up to me and say, Sandy, thank you so much for explaining that. You know, after you talked about the pension withdrawals, I went and spoke to my fiance, and he's a Caymanian. He's trying to get a house. And I said to him, but Professor Sandy said XYZ. She explained it on the show. And then he's arguing with his girlfriend. No, that's not how it works. And they said, well, Sandy, you better go check. Sure enough, when he goes to the bank and he asks him that specific question about the penalty repayment, they're like, yes, that's how it works. How many of you sign documents every single day that, number one, you don't read? And the reason you don't read it, because you're not going to understand it anyway. So you're like, why am I wasting my time? This is how you trip up yourself. That mortgage document is actually really, really important. Make sure you understand the basic tenets of it, the basic clauses, what it means, what you're getting yourself into. Well, but Miss Sandy, I agreed to pay $1,200 a month. How they can keep raising my interest rates? You never read the mortgage document. That's why you're now confused. That document gives them the right to increase your interest rate anytime they feel like it. These things are important. Magnum Opus says, amazing how someone can accuse you of dumbing down people. Perhaps they should educate themselves and enhance their vocabulary. I mean, here I am thinking I'm elevating people, that I'm helping people understand a lot of what's happening in this country. So yes, I am Magnum Opus, confused like you. But what I recognize is, this is why you don't really take it personal, honey. I'm going to address it now. I'm not going to just let it fly by the wayside, because there are other people who reading it might buy into this foolishness. But this is why it is necessary to address people when they come at you with certain comments, right? Because number one, it occurs to me that these people don't engage on a regular basis on the show. They don't watch the show on a regular basis. And sometimes they just are looking to take a jab. Like, oh, Sandy said, you know, she dumbing down to people. I'm going to just blurt that out. And I'm like, you don't listen to the show, do you? Because if you actually listen to this show, you would understand and you would know that one of the main things that we try to do here on this program is educate people, provide people with information every single day, whether it's showing you how to report somebody like we did yesterday to Facebook and get them blocked for a fake account, or if it's just explaining something that the government has said and delving into it. It is important that we try to understand what is happening in the world around us. Stephanie says advocacy is such a need worldwide. Hallelujah. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. All right, we spent enough time on that lesson. Let's keep it moving, honey child. We got a lot to talk about. So the minimum wage discussion, finally, we had a press briefing about it yesterday. Thank you, Jesus. We're going to spend more than one session going into this, and I'll tell you why. You know, at the end of the day, this is going to be a game changer in more ways than one. So I'm in a couple groups. I'm not really in a whole lot of groups, to be honest, but I'm in a couple groups. And someone said, oh, Miss Sandy, well, not to me, in the group, they're like, oh, you know, is this really benefiting Caymanians and this, that, and the next thing? And I was like, I think y'all are confused. Okay? You cannot pass a minimum wage legislation that is just going to benefit Caymanians only. It is going to apply to everyone. And as with all of these things, depending on who you are, what you do, whether you own a business or not, whether you have a helper or not, everyone is going to get some of the negatives and some of the positives of the minimum wage increase. And I thought for sure that we had this conversation numerous times, because I kept saying to you all, be careful about what you wish for. Be careful about not understanding the full implications of something. Okay? This person says, I want clarity when we say someone is Caymanian. I want to hear that person is if I want to hear that person's a Caymanan by status. Oh my gosh. That is so funny. Sandy, you as well as I and many other people know that Odell at his younger age was not like this. She can't say maybe the same person about the shipments to Jamaica. Drugs is a hell of a thing. That's why so many have gone astray. God help our young people, especially. He was actually speaking in parables. Well, yes, he was speaking in parables, but they were confusing parables is a problem. Just because you're speaking in parables are not, I don't know why people think this, but parables are not meant to be confusing. I know John missed that session of class as well, because anytime he speaks in parables, they think that, oh, when you speak in parables, that means that, you don't understand what it means. It's actually the opposite. Jesus spoke in parables all the time, and his parables were crystal clear. The whole point of speaking in parables is to use like a story, use an allegory, something to try to tell people certain principles, normally around truth, religion, and moral lessons. That's why you speak in parables. What are some of the most famous parables? Let me think. Oh God, there were so many that Jesus did with wines and plants and seeds, and you reap what you sow. That's not confusing. Everybody understands the parable of whatever it is you plant in the ground. If I plant corn seeds, corns don't go by seeds. Let me pick another example. Beans. Am I not going to reap beans? I can't plant a mango seed and expect to get an avocado. You reap what you sow. A simple example. And of course, you can go into and elaborate the parable of, the man who reaped what he sowed, the family that planted this and whatever. But it's very, very simple. So don't confuse parables with confusion. Parables are meant to be a simple way for anybody, basically, to understand the point that is trying to be made. Parable of the prodigal son, right? So when you read that segment of the Bible about the man having two sons, everybody understood what that parable was all about. The parable of the mustard seed. Yes? The Good Samaritan. Thank you to the listener of the program. When you hear the story of the Good Samaritan, was anybody left confused? No. It's only our elected officials that try to confuse us with parables about donkeys that don't make no sense. What a hot mess. Can I get an amen, says Athena? Yes, hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
You can call a corn kernel a seed. Oh, thank you. I'm not much of a planter, I'll be honest. All right. Good morning, Miss Sue. Simplicity, says Cameron, John, and his donkey story. All now, all these years later, none of us understood the donkey story. We still don't. No one has been able to dissect it. Speaking in parables and speaking in coded language, I guess, are two very different things. All right. Listen. We try to make it as simple as possible, yes? That the implications of the minimum wage was something that was going to impact every single person in good and bad in some way, shape, or another. Some of y'all didn't get it until yesterday. And it's unfortunate that you didn't get it, because now you're having discussions that you should have been having well over a year ago. This minimum wage committee has been very, very busy, folks, doing a lot of work. Let me just request something real quick from the little CMR team. So a lot of you were saying, oh my gosh, this is not enough. We need more than $8.75 as the minimum wage. A lot of you were saying it's too much. Not a lot of you, but I think some of you were saying it's too much. Some of you, oh, it's not enough. There's recommendations about gratuity scheme. there's potentially a lot of changes coming down the pipeline. And you have to make sure, you have to make it your business to understand what this means. Everybody is impacted when a government increases or changes the minimum wage. Okay? There's a trickle-down effect. The people that I kept saying y'all need to consider and think about. Caymanians who might be making just a little bit above minimum wage. So say, for example, I'm a Caymanian, I work in an office, and I'm making minimum wage of $6 an hour. Say they're paying me $9 or $10 an hour to answer their phone, do basic admin and reception work. Yes? But I have to pay, because I have children, I have to pay a helper based on the minimum wage standard. You have just increased that person's minimum wage to $8.75. I'm not at minimum wage, I'm at $10. Follow me closely now. My salary is not going to get increased because of this legislation. I am a Caymanian, but it still has a trickle-down effect and a direct impact on me. Because now I have to pay out more money, but I'm not going to be making any more money. Pay attention, folks. I never said that we didn't need to make adjustments to the minimum wage or that we don't need to increase it. That's not the point. The point is you've got to understand the knock-on effect and the impact on increasing it and make sure everybody is on board with, yes, now I have to pay out more money, making no more. The cost of living in certain now grocery stores said, okay, if you kept it below, I think they tried to keep it, where they said, if it's this, we're not going to have to increase it. If you go above that, we're going to definitely have to be increasing the cost of stuff. Because we got truckers, we got stock people, we have cashiers, we have all these people, which a lot of them are right above minimum wage. They might already be making $8 an hour, but now they need to be making $8.75 an hour. And that's more money. You multiply the multiplier effect, you times that to the thousands of workers that these grocery stores might have and that they may employ. And not just the salary. Let me remind you that if you pay pension, that has a knock-on effect on how much you'll pay out in the person's pension as well. We got to think about these things closely. You know what I hear Caymanians saying to me? Oh, well, I'm simply going to cut back my helper because I can't afford to pay her anymore because I've got CUC, water bill, mortgage. I need a little bit of money to have some entertainment for myself, school fees, school uniforms, this, that, the next thing, maybe an occasional trip. I'm going to now cut back her hours. She's not going to make, and this is interesting, this is Caymanian saying this, she's not going to make any more money. What is going to happen is she's going to have a reduction in her hours. So she wants to go work for somebody else to pick up those hours, and that's on her. But in order for me to be able to afford to pay her, I need to keep her just about where she is. And these are people who were not necessarily paying $6 an hour. So they weren't paying minimum wage. But they're not going to bump somebody up to $9, $10 an hour either. So maybe they're paying $8 an hour. Now they got to pay $8.75. And they're like, okay, then I got to figure out how to keep you within budget because they're living on a budget. Yes. So does that help people? If you're reducing their hours, if you're cutting their hours, if you're letting people go, because some business, well, now, I'm going to let staff go. Because if you can't afford to pay people, let them go. It's as simple as that. So now I'm going to let people go, downsize my company, and just do with what we can do and tell other people in the company, you got to pick up the slack for whatever it is you're working for. So, morning to Miss Darlene McKenzie. Damien says math. Well, sometimes math is not a simple subject for everybody to get. This is math and economics. Rough Seas says, I heard them say that they're going to increase the minimum wage. And in the same breath, I heard them say that they're going to increase the cost of living by 20%. Rough Seas, is that actually what they said? Nobody increases the cost of living. That's how you're interpreting it, because the cost of everything will go up. Damien says now you need another $2.75. So he's saying the minimum wage should be, what is that, $11, $12? Okay. Let me put the question to you. After what we just said about the minimum wage having a trickle-down effect in real terms on people, whether or not you're satisfied with a minimum wage of $8.75. The minimum wage committee undoubtedly had a very difficult task. They said they spoke to industry people across all different sectors. They had some people come to them, including the Cayman Islands Tourism Association, Chamber of Commerce, came and did certain presentations to put forward the position of them and their membership and that sort of thing. Yes? So we're going to do a question here this morning surrounding minimum wage. And the question is going to be, are you satisfied with the minimum wage being $8.75 USD? I mean, KYD, my apologies. Let me clarify the currency. That's KYD. Yes, satisfied. No, should be more. And no, should be less. Because this one might not be a straight yes or no. So we'll say yes, we're satisfied at $8.75. The other answers, no, should be more. No, should be less. Okay? Let's launch this poll here today. I'm going to put the link in the comment section. There you go. And then I will put it up on the screen for everybody who can do the barcode scanning to do the barcode scanning. So I think the question is clear. Sometimes when you're talking to people and they say clear as mud. By the way, thank you guys. A lot of you have been sending me this Compass article that has been trending about tourism is not a key contributor to Cayman's economy. In some ways, it's a controversial position, but I'm actually not surprised by it. So we're going to try to have a deep dive conversation into the benefits that we are reaping and take it from there. Benefits or not from tourism, because it is a very, very interesting perspective. So yes, we will pick up on that. Okay. So here's your question. Participate in the poll and scan and vote. So far, the no, it should be more is winning. Giselle says, with this increase, I can't afford a helper. I'm a single parent. My income has not increased. You see, this is what I'm saying. Of course, it hasn't increased because you weren't making $6 an hour. You might have been making a little bit more than the $6 an hour mark, but that does not mean now that if your expenses have increased directly because of minimum wage, and that's only but one example, right? It will increase in other ways, Gabby, that you're going to feel as a single parent. Cameron says, what about the Caymanians that have done nothing, absolutely nothing, to the rising cost of living over the last 3 years? Cameron, I have a question for you. What can you do about the rising cost of living? What do you expect your elected officials to do about the rising cost of living? Have you ever seen the cost of living go down anywhere in the world, ever? Let me share something with you all. You know, it's important to read what's happening elsewhere in the world and to educate yourselves. So yesterday I was having some of my teachable moments for myself. I try to read something and learn something new every single day. And there was an article about elderly people in the US, right? who are going to be 65 and up living on $30,000 or less USD. That is their income level for 65 years and up. This is the reality of their lives. And I thought to myself, if we were having that conversation in the context of Cayman, all of you would be losing your minds. Even in the United States of America, you would be very, very challenged to find any state and or city that you can survive on $30,000 or less anywhere in the world. In the United States, I mean. Okay? You certainly can't do it in Miami, Florida. Florida used to be known as the retirement state. That is changing. The cost of living for Florida is changing. Keep voting, folks. Let me just try to put my hand back on this article again. I'm trying to remember who had it up. Just give me a second here, and I'll try to find it. I think it might have been one of my business publications that I read. Just give me a second. Oh, yes. My memory didn't fail me this morning quite yet. Okay. This was Business Insider. I read their stuff all the time. Here we go. Okay. This is the reality of the lives of a lot of people. We're going to dig into some of the details here. But this is what we're talking about. Just over half, so more than 50% of Americans over the age of 65 are earning under $30,000 a year. They're now calling this a stark retirement crisis. What are we talking about? This is a new report from Senator Bernie Sanders. Signals a looming retirement crisis for Americans. Let's be very clear. People are living longer than ever before. Thanks to developments in healthcare, trying to have, healthier habits, et cetera, we are living longer. There's better treatments for cancer, for diabetes. A lot of these diseases are no longer a life sentence, a death sentence, my apologies. And so we are living longer. And that means that when you say, $2 million before you could retire on, that's not going to be the case anymore. I mean, if you're living 10, 15, 20 years longer, life expectancy, you're going to need double that, maybe even quadruple that with the cost of living increasing as it does. This is what this story essentially says. Many older folks are financially vulnerable, with over half of them living on incomes of less than $30,000 a year. Solutions might include enhanced Social Security checks, setting up automatic retirement accounts, and more. So this is a concern. But listen to me carefully now, folks. We're not nowhere near retirement. We're not there yet, right? What we are talking about here, folks, is the fact that not just our older people are vulnerable. Everybody, children living in poverty are vulnerable. Adults living in poverty are vulnerable. And so we all need some plan forward. If you think the magic panacea is going to be to constantly increase the minimum wage, as though that has no real impact on the quality of your life and the affordability of your life, you are sadly mistaken. Go look at the jurisdictions with the highest minimum wages. Nobody wants to talk about something else that's happening here. And this is where I have nothing wrong with increasing the minimum wage. But where I think that there's an argument that needs to be really, really addressed is no one should be seeking to live their entire lives on minimum wage. Whatever the minimum wage is. Even if the minimum wage was $1 million an hour. Because if it's $1 million an hour, that means with expenses, groceries, everything, your cost of living is going to be $4 million an hour. The cost of living, inflation, is always going to outpace minimum wage. No one can tell you nothing differently. There's a difference between a minimum wage and a livable wage. Yes? Your livable wage is always going to be problematic if you don't seek to come out of a certain bracket. So the question is, what is it that you are doing, or what can you do in order to ensure that you are never in the minimum wage bracket? You know what you need to do? You need to make yourself more valuable than $8.75 an hour. Are y'all paying attention in class this morning? Did you hear what I said? Make yourself more valuable than $6 an hour. Make yourself more valuable than $8.75 an hour. Make yourself more valuable than $10 an hour. Increase your value. And how do you increase your value? There's different things that you can do, but you have to be educated and you have to be someone that brings value to an organization, or you can start your own business and be valuable in that way. Nobody should be talking about, oh yes, I'm not going to be making $8.75 an hour. Ka-ching! I'm so happy. Happy about what? Elevate yourself. Get that piece of paper. Children, stay in school. Go to trade school. Do anything to make you more valuable to an employer. Caller, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, sir.
One way you could make yourself more valuable to an employer is, let's say you're hired and they're paying you $6 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you're on the floor and you're doing customer service, or you're helping people in some way. You're interacting with customers.
Mm-hmm.
Give the absolute best possible customer service.
Mm-hmm.
So that when anybody comes back to the store, they think about you.
Mm-hmm.
An example, if I go to A.L. Thompson,
Mm-hmm.
I will ask for Frank.
Mm-hmm.
This man knows everything. He knows where everything. He understands so many issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a question about, am I getting the right part?
Mm-hmm.
I know Frank has the answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you make yourself valuable.
Yes.
An example of how you make yourself valuable.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Take care.
All right. That makes good sense. How else can you make yourself valuable? Denny has said, be an asset to your organization by providing, but that's knowledge base. Frank knows everything and where it's at. That's knowledge. Knowledge is power. Make yourself powerful, and your organization will not want to see you leave. You know, y'all need to pay attention to when we do these Cayman Voices interviews, okay? When I did the one with Miss Seymour, oh gosh, I always forget her first name. Dawn Seymour's mommy. One of the things she said that I thought was so interesting. Was it her? I think it was her that was telling me the story. Yeah. Yes. About how she was constantly changing and moving jobs and moving up, because she would be working for individuals, starting out working in this little store here in town. And they liked her so much because she was a good worker. She was hardworking. And she was constantly learning and doing things, right? The next thing you know, they open up a new business and they're like, okay, we want you to go into the new business and run that store for us. We want you to do this. We want you to run, you know? And that is amazing. Make yourself valuable. You cannot have a minimum wage mindset. This is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. If you're not valuable to your employer, they're going to keep you right at minimum wage. Now, if your employer is one of those people who just cheap and don't want to pay you nothing, then you know what's going to happen? You are going to find a new employer. Someone who will value your skill set, who will value what you bring to the table. People, our minds are the most difficult things to change. You all know this already. Once you become committed to an idea, even when your idea has been proven to be faulty and completely wrong, there's something about human beings that we want to, I think, is it just my glasses or are things fuzzy? I cleaned my glasses, now things look fuzzy. Hold on. I think it could just be, yeah, there we go. There we go. Camera is focused now. Okay. There's something about human beings, folks, that we are just difficult to have a change of mind. You know, it's deep seated in you. You know you're wrong at your core and you're still like, I'm going to hold on to that position. So we've had it ingrained in us since this minimum wage thing has even come into effect, that all of a sudden this is like, oh, I'm going to be, I don't want to be making minimum wage, but that's where I'm at. Why am I not hearing people talk about how you should never seek to be a minimum wage worker, especially as a Caymanian? There are educational opportunities that are available around this. What are you talking about being a minimum wage worker for? For some other people, maybe that's not too bad because where they're coming from, 6, 7, 8, 75 an hour is still more than they're making back home. Good morning, caller. Are you trying to call the program?
Hi, good morning. I wanted to ask a quick question, actually. So what happens to the Caymanians that are working?
Okay, I need you to call. Do me a favor. Call the show line. This is actually my personal number. I don't mind you calling it, but so that everybody can hear you properly, call 936-2626. That's the show number. Yeah, 936-2626. Okay, there, no problem.
Hello.
Yes,
Good
hi.
morning.
Morning, caller.
Good morning. I've been listening for a while, and you finally have gotten to the meat of the potato there with the recommendations that people should not aim to run their life on minimum wage. That should be a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
The starting point of when you come out of high school, you go flip hamburgers or something like that. That's when you do the minimum wage and you work yourself up from there. And here is my real reason for calling. This is a criticism, the lack of that message being promulgated by our elected representatives.
Yes.
The message to the people that you got to work on your career. You cannot go and get a job pushing carts at Foster's and expecting to be earning twice the minimum wage in due course.
Exactly.
It will remain a minimum wage position
forever.
And
absolutely.
As you rightly pointed out several times now, the minimum wage is not something you can live on in Cayman, much less have a family and build a career.
Yeah.
So that's all I want to say. I put the blame squarely on our elected representatives over the decades, not this year's, last year's, or so forth. Over the decades, they have been lacking in leading the people, recommending to them that they embark on careers, work hard in their young years while they may still be living with their parents after they come out of school. Those that go to college and become lawyers and all that, they're taken care of. But that may only be 10% of the young people body for that year.
Yes.
The other 90%, maybe 10% of them fall between the cracks anyway. But the other 80%, they can make themselves a good life, but it doesn't come. You cannot be sitting down waiting for it to fall in your lap.
Absolutely.
You have to work on it.
Thank you so much, caller. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. 936-2626. Let's be very clear here as well. That caller said, maybe the lawyers and doctors, they're 10% of the population. And we think that they're making top salaries. Let me also ask you to shift your mindset here for a second. So Live, thank you, says a minimum wage mindset. So true. I also need you to change your mindset about what people make. Listen to me. You have a mindset of professional lawyers and doctors making all the money. I'm going to let you know that there's an upward ceiling of what a lot of those people can make because they actually work for somebody else. So not to say they're not making good money. Hey, I've worked Maples and Calder. I know at the minimum salary, it's probably changed long since I've left. But if you're a partner, you can get drawdown. I've seen partners getting monthly drawdowns of $25,000 a month. Yes, in addition to their regular salary. So I know the money is good. But what I'm telling you is, do not get this mindset that those are the only jobs that are going to make that kind of money and that is what you're aiming for. I can tell you that there are laborers out there, business people out there who make more money than those so-called lawyers and doctors because they have skills. Yes, they can make $50,000, $60,000 a month. Business owners can make a lot of money. That doesn't mean just because you're making it, you're keeping it all. But my point is, there's no upward ceiling. When you work for other people, there will normally be a ceiling of what you can and what you will make. Caller number 1, we have 2 callers on the line. First caller, good morning, 7427, your question or comment this morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. Yeah, I think the local caller was first, but caller, can I ask you to allow the other caller, because I see that she's calling from overseas, and so this is a long distance call for her, so we want to maybe save a little bit of money. Do you mind conceding to her and let her go first?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, morning caller, calling from the UK.
Morning, and thank you to the other caller. Morning. God bless you all. So to encapsulate 2 points from yesterday's show and today's show, it is not where you start, but it's where you're heading. So it's all about the journey. Yes. I grew up in Dog City. I am currently successfully having raised my 3 children all by myself, 2 of which are in college. I am also putting myself through college because I looked at the corridor of life and I said, this is not good enough. I don't want to just be stuck on a minimum wage position and, teach my children that just get a job. I'm studying psychology. I'm very successful in my studies. So I say all of that to say, you know what? Stop having the mentality that, I just got to get a job and make a little bit of money. How am I going to make myself invaluable? Yes. Because we all have certain talents and capabilities that we bring to the table. So we shouldn't be told by any kind of societal norm, this is all that you can amount to. Look in yourself. God created you with a purpose. Go for it. You can do it. If I can do it, raising 3 children by myself and put myself through school, even after having to migrate from Cayman, and this is the reason why I migrated from Cayman, so that my children can have a fighting chance at any type of future, then you can do it. Don't make any excuses. Everybody has an excuse. So let's start with looking within and moving forward. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, caller. Appreciate it. Second caller, who was the first caller, thank you so much for agreeing to let her go. Your question or comment?
Good morning.
Morning.
I actually wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
So for the Caymanians, right, who are working like $10 to let's say $14 an hour, does their pay rise because of the new minimum wage, or does it stay the same?
Nope, your pay is not going to increase. Why would your pay increase? This is the point that I'm trying to make, right? Your pay isn't going to increase, but you're probably going to end up paying more, especially if you have a domestic worker who you were paying $6 an hour or $6.50 or $7 an hour, or even $8 an hour too, because now you got to pay her $8.75 an hour.
Okay. Thank you.
And you're not likely to get an increase, honey child. So, I mean, it's not going to be based on the minimum wage increases. You might get an increase for other things, performance at work or promotions, that sort of thing. That's why I'm saying, don't ever think that your life has to be tied in to minimum wage. Always be seeking more and better for yourself.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, my dear. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Thank you, caller. And again, I think that what has happened is people haven't really put their minds to how this was going to work. So think about it. You own a company, right? And you're paying your staff $10 an hour. You already pay them $10 an hour. Minimum wage has increased. That's not going to have nothing to do with you. You're not going to be like, oh, well, since they've increased minimum wage, I'm going to now pay my staff $12 an hour. Why? You're already above minimum wage. And your staff are going to continue until there's some other reason why you can pay them more. They're adding value to the organization. They're bringing in more money. They're doing whatever. But in this day and time, everybody is trying to tighten their belts, if truth be known, including the companies and organizations that you work for. Let me read some of your comments, honey child. Denver says, exactly. Frankie is awesome. I saw a comment about Frankie. Al says Frankie is a big value to A.L. Thompson's. Hopefully they acknowledge that and pay him a great salary to live his best life. It's a dog-eat-dog world, it seems. Everyone can't be a doctor or a lawyer, and everyone should not want to be a doctor or a lawyer. I need y'all to stop thinking about becoming doctors and lawyers for a minute. Okay? Your potential far exceeds being a doctor or a lawyer. And I'm not talking about being head surgeon. I'm talking about you can operate a plumbing company and make more than doctors and lawyers. You can be in sales jobs and make more than doctors and lawyers. You can offer different types of services to people and make more than doctors and lawyers. Find whatever it is that you enjoy doing, because at the end of the day, money is only money, and it truly cannot buy you happiness. It buys you things, it buys you stuff. That doesn't make you happy. Recently, I was talking to a family member, and they had gone on a trip to Cabo San Lucas or whatever, and somewhere in Mexico, maybe not even Cabo, I don't know where, somewhere in Mexico. And they went with this family that they're ultra rich. The husband is an older man. He's worked and made his millions, and find this young ting to marry, this young Spanish ting. And they're living their best lives. They live in a mansion, probably 8,000 square feet, 8,000 square feet in Mexico. They got homes in the UK, homes here, there, and everywhere. Yes. It was described as, oh my God, this could be an architectural digest. That's how pretty this building is. And after the trip, family members said, wow, they would never go there again. Not because it wasn't a nice building and it wasn't nice and whatever, but there's no happiness in that home. It is a sterile building with no love, honey child. Okay? So it looks good. Costs lots of money. And the people in the home, the family, don't even really love each other. There's no connection there. There's no genuineness there. There's no happy. There's no laughter. There's really nothing. We're going to give you stuff as children. We're going to give you the fast cars when you're 16, 18 years old, whatever. And you're going to have the best of everything, but you have no real joy. You have no real purpose in life. What kind of living is that? That don't make no sense. So on the quest for you to live in this, we have to all admit, very commercialized, very, it is what it is world where you got to pay bills and you got to have a car and you got to do certain things and everybody wants nice things. I have no issue with that as long as you understand that those are not your first priority in life. Sometimes poor people are the happiest people. They not got to stress of trying to chase no dollars. So find your balance. Find in life what makes you happy in terms of your professional life. If you're a lawyer right now and you're listening to this program, and every single morning you get up and you hate going to work, I'm going to suggest to you, you need to figure out why. Could be because you're working for the wrong people. Might not be the lawyering part that's the problem. It could be that you're just working for the wrong people. I'm going to give y'all another story time. Look at that. 2 story times in one show. Woo, honey child. Gather around, everybody. Listen to this one. I was at Maples and Calder. Y'all know this already. And money was decent. I was a student back in those days, making $3,500 a month, at least. That was the base salary. And then I got overtime during the summer. I worked in school projects. I told y'all one summer I made like $10,000, took home $10,000 as a student in law school because I was working on a special project in the warehouses, had overtime, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Good money, no problems. And I remember my father had gotten sick. I told you all a little bit about this. He didn't really want to say what it was that he had, but eventually we found out that he had stomach cancer. So he was actually on his deathbed. Dr. Tomlinson, boy, he doesn't necessarily have the best bedside manners when he told me this, but he told me the cold hard truth. I remember walking in the halls of Tomlinson Hospital and I saw Dr. Tomlinson. Didn't really know him at the time. And I stopped him and I said, hey, Uric Solomon, my dad is there. He's sick. I see he's in a lot of pain. What's the prognosis? Because these old people, they don't tell you what's wrong with him. I said, what's the prognosis? This was exactly what Tomlinson, Dr. Teets said to me. Prognosis? What prognosis? He's here to die. I was like, what? I had no idea. It makes me emotional now even thinking about it because I had no clue that my father's condition was like he was on his deathbed. I didn't know that. I was like, he's here to die. He said, yeah, that's the prognosis. We're just going to try to make him as comfortable as possible, but he's here to die. Oh my God. Honestly, you could have taken a knife and put it in my heart when I heard that. I was like, what are you talking about? My brain couldn't understand what this man just told me. I understood his words, but I was struggling to understand what that meant. His response was, what prognosis? He is here to die. I was like, wow, okay. Okay, I need a minute to even understand what the hell you're saying to me. Folks, when it comes down to the wire, we're all here to die at some point, yes? Some of us are going to live a little bit longer than others. But you have to know in that moment, what is it all for? Why are we even here? You're going to die and do what? Leave what behind? Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Sandra. I sent you a picture regarding some keys that our drivers found. Okay. So I have my number attached to the picture that I sent you. So whoever keys it is, they give us a call and we can meet up about to give them their keys.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much, Sandra.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
You too. Anybody lost some keys? Y'all be losing everything. We got the keys here, folks. So he said, yes, he's just here to die. And I was like, wow, okay. Damn. That was a reality check. So I said, okay, he's just here to die. Okay. That was the prognosis. And in the remaining time after he said that until he passed away, I, would sit there and think about a lot of things. I have to tell you the truth. Even as a very young child, I've always had very deep thoughts before I understood what any of that meant. Even before I left Cayman, I would go outside and just stargaze and think about a lot of things that probably were big thoughts for a 7-year-old at the time. How did we get here? What is this life all about? Why me? Why this situation? All sorts of things. And so here I am now in my 20s, and I'm being told, this is it. This is it. He's going to die. Nothing you can do, nothing we can do. It is what it is. And I really didn't have anyone like close to me die before. Like my grandfather died. That was kind of like the closest years before that. But I'm like, okay. It makes you reflect on your life. It can make you reflect on your life. And make some decisions about what am I doing? Where am I going? And I just finished law school, had literally just got my law school results. I told you guys the weekend that my father's funeral was the Sunday, law school graduation was the day before on the Saturday. You ask yourself, why am I here? What am I doing? What is this all about? I'm going to go into Maples and start working and make decent money, make good money. I'm going to have the 1.5 kids and the dog. Strive for the big house in certain exclusive gated communities. And then what? Then what? How am I helping anybody? By shuffling corporate documents, company registration, registering ships and yachts. And I mean, some of the deals that I'd see come in, multi-billion-dollar, transfers of assets and this and that. And it's like trust fund babies. And who am I helping? The rich get richer. How does that help the world? They'll always find someone who's willing to do their bidding and to make them richer in life. That they will never have a problem. The 1%ers, the ultra rich people, they will forever be good. And their children will be good and their grandchildren will be good. And it's a trickle down. They're not the people that I care about in this world. They're not the people that keep me up at night if I'm kept up at night about anything. They're not the people that I try to do this show for. They'll be fine. They don't have to worry about minimum wage. Because even when their children are lazy, self-entitled, have no common sense, can't run a business, they will still be left that business to probably run into the ground because that is the luck of the draw. Somebody else came before them that made wiser decisions, better decisions, the sacrifices to be able to leave their children something. And the irony of it is most of these children don't even want it. They want the money, they want the benefits, but they don't want to put in any of the hard work to sustain what their parents and their grandparents before them built. How many times have you looked around? Some of Cayman's like best families, right? With all kind of money. And you see their children barely wanting to get up in the morning. They want to get up and do drugs, right? They're living all over the world, living their most fabulous. Oh, I got to jet off to the UK now. And look at where I'm living in the city in London. I don't care. I honestly don't care, right? They'll always be fine. They'll always find a way. It's everybody else who wasn't born with that silver spoon in their mouth, who didn't have the luck of that draw that I am worried about. And so I sat there and I was like, oh. After all this work, law school from the age of 9, I'm like, yes, I want to be a lawyer. It occurred to me that I really needed to ask myself the question, the reality of being a lawyer in Cayman is different than what I envisioned. Being a lawyer that helps people is different than working at a Maples and Calder in a corporate environment. You're helping people, but the people that you're helping is just super rich people who, like I said, there's a million people waiting in line to help them. There's not a million people waiting in line to help the little man on the street. Let me be very clear. So I had a bit of an epiphany, and I decided that I was not going to stay at Maples and Calder, and I was going to resign. I was going to leave. Not an easy decision by any stretch of the imagination. And in fact, the irony of it is there was a price to pay for that. But I can tell you, right now, as we stand here, what today's date is, March the 7th, 2024. It was probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made. Not an easy decision, because then there was unemployment. There was all of these other things that fell out of that. Well, why would you leave Maples and Calder? Everybody wants to go to Maples and Calder. Something must have been wrong. That was like creme de creme of, where you want to work and this and that. What I get to do now, I wouldn't trade with a single lawyer at Maples and Calder. No managing partner. I don't care how many millions of dollars that they're making, what kind of big house that they're living in. I wouldn't trade where I am now with them for nothing in the world. So you have to find whatever your passion is. What is it that you want to do with your life? And that can change, to be very clear, throughout your life, right? You might start off wanting to do one thing, and life changes that outlook for you. But make sure that your heart is in it. Whatever it is that you're doing, that you actually enjoy it. Like you get up in the morning and you look forward to doing whatever your professional life is. Because the saying that you create this path for your passion to be there, and the money will follow. It's almost like you can't at times worry about the financial aspect and the financial benefit, because you've got to just focus on your passion. I have always said, for me, CMR is a passion and not a paycheck. Do what you love. You think Mr. Frankie at A.L. Thompson's hates his job? If he hated his job, he would not be the best at it. You guys would not be sitting here singing his praises. Because people who hate their jobs barely show up to work. They don't want to come. They're miserable when they come into the workplace. They got sourpuss face, screw up face. Everything about them oozes, I don't want to be here. They complain and they moan and they groan, and you guys have seen them in the workplace. Some people are such toxic coworkers, like you don't even want to be around them, because all they do is complain about everything under the sun. And you're like, oh God, here she comes again at the water cooler. Let me hurry up and grab my water and run the other direction. Isn't it amazing to have people who enjoy their work, who are upbeat, who want to be there? Gabby says, my theory is with this increased situations, they're trying to run of Caymanians because government knows that we're going to settle for that. I'm not quite sure I understand it. I think that there has to be an understanding of not about Caymanians going to settle for it. Y'all would have settled for $7 an hour. It's about how much can you bear in a situation. So if minimum wage was $6 an hour, anybody who thought that they would have increased it to $10, $15 an hour, y'all don't understand economics 101. And I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just trying to say that you don't understand the world of business. No organization could sustain that type of an increase in the minimum wage and still survive. So the balance is this. You increase it somewhat, couple dollars and change, almost $3 to help people, but you don't increase it too much where you're having businesses collapse. Gabby, if they increased it to $12 an hour, would you have been satisfied? Let me ask you this. Would you have been satisfied with $12 an hour? Let me see your response first. What do you think it should have been increased to? $12? $15? What would have made you satisfied? I'm waiting for you to respond for a reason. Stephanie says, when people ask me, what do you make becoming an advocate? I tell them, I make a difference. She says, nope, but I'm not going to complain. No. But you're saying that Caymanians, it's what it is because Caymanians are going to accept it. I want to challenge somebody. If Gabby's not going to give me a figure, somebody give me a figure with what you would have been happy with. If you're unhappy with the $8.75 recommendation, Instagram people, come on now, participate. Tell me, what would you have been happy with? Damien, what would you have been happy with? How much? $10, $12, $15, $25? What would you have been happy with? Anybody? Peace? Cayman? You just joined. How much would you have been happy with as the minimum wage? That's the question on the table. I just need one response. Y'all sitting here looking at me, 500 of you like you can't answer. Open up your mouths and just give me a dollar amount of what you, okay, there we go. Lilith, thank you, honey child. Lilith got the assignment. A for Lilith. Lilith says $14 an hour. Good morning, caller. Hello?
Good
morning.
Yeah. I am good morning concerned.
Are you calling the show?
Yes.
936-2626.
Okay.
Yes. 936-2626.
Thank you.
Okay, my dear. I'm going to share the number more often because y'all be calling my personal number. And it's on speakerphone, so it's not going to sound as good. All right, Miss Faith says $8, so she'd be giving y'all less. Al and Stephanie say $15 an hour. Jackie says $10 an hour. Okay. So let's say $15 an hour. That is what, 3 times where you were? Because 6 and 6 is 12, and another 6, not quite, but almost 3 times, right? Where you were. Would you be happy making $15 an hour, Al and Stephanie, knowing that a lot of businesses would shut down? Are you happy? Are you okay? Not happy, maybe that's not the right word. Would you be fine knowing that a lot of small and micro businesses, which make up the bulk of businesses in the Cayman Islands, would have to shut down if you increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour? So all of the mom and pop stores that we have around the place, bars and restaurants, shutting down. That's good with you? Let's talk about the trickle-down effect of those businesses shutting down. People who own real estate, a lot of these people are Caymanians, and rent can no longer afford to have those places for rent or for lease. So then they're going to be boarded up and shuttered. Good morning, caller. Hello? Hello? I can't hear you. Okay. So let me tell you something. When I was in Greece last year from a little trip, I saw a country that had been depressed by economic troubles, right? I don't know, recession, depression, call it what you want, but it was certainly not a good look. Lots of buildings were shuttered right in the center of Athens, right? You got over here, the museum, where millions of tourists are walking through every day, being, shown what a beautiful place this is, this, that, and the next thing. And right across the street, buildings in concrete that is literally falling apart, that they've been boarded up and shuttered for years. So my question is, if at $15 an hour, it meant that businesses would have to shutter their doors. Are you okay with that? Some people say, I don't care, Sandy, because we got too many salons and restaurants and whatever already. So maybe that's your position. Your position is, yeah, I don't see a problem with it. I'm happy to have less businesses in Cayman, fewer businesses. Have them close down, have them shut down. I want to try to find some photos and show you guys, because when you see it, there's a difference in seeing what this type of financial depression actually looks like. Okay? Because Cayman, in my mind, has been very, very fortunate. Trust me. Our economic story, despite probably not always making the best decisions, has actually been fairly good. Construction is booming. I know y'all complain about a lot, but construction is still booming and things are happening. When businesses start to shut down and people can't afford to maintain certain things because their expenditure now, their payroll expenditure is too high and they just can't afford it. Two things are going to happen if people can't afford to pay minimum wage. The first thing, which is a very, very real possibility, especially in this jurisdiction where we have such a lack of compliance, is people are simply, on paper, going to claim that they're paying it, and in real terms, they're not going to pay it. Yes? How many times have you seen this? People calling in on this show, Friday segment, Sandy, this company claimed that they were going to pay me this. Remember the lady with the diamond marquee store or whatever, right? They're supposed to be paying me this, but then they gave me so few hours. It doesn't matter. You could pay $100 an hour, and if personally working 3 hours, they're still taking home that money for the month. And that's what they were doing to her, right? Promising her minimum wage or $8 an hour, whatever it was, but then having her work so few hours that it didn't even make any sense. So you will have people that are going to be non-compliant. They will find a way to finagle the system and still not do what they are supposed to do. Understand me? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do with situations like that? What minimum wage compliance team do we have? Especially when a lot of our workers are afraid of speaking up in this jurisdiction because they're here on a work permit, and being on the work permit is more important to them than anything else. So they'll continue to get the $6 an hour and they're not going to complain. Because the $6 an hour is still better than what they'd be getting back home. And it's something is better than nothing is going to be their philosophy. Okay? What about people who will say, okay, I can't pay that. So the alternative is going to be, I'm going to let staff go. So now you're out of a job. You were making $7 an hour at your job. Now your employer says, I can't pay you $8.75, so goodbye. What are you going to do? Go join the NAU line? We're going to talk about them tomorrow, because now they want to pay for your phone, because we're creating a welfare state in so many interesting ways. They want to pay for your phone, your bus fare, and your internet. That's the line that you're going to be rushing to join and sign up for? Okay. You're going to have employers who will say, wow, I had 10 workers paying them $7. Now we're going to go down to 5 workers, and they're all going to have to produce the exact same worker. They'll be out of a job, and I'll find somebody else who will do it at the bare minimum and get it done. Other companies, the reality is, they're going to say, this just isn't viable anymore. I'm paying out more in insurance and pension and whatever. So this no longer works. And they will just shutter their doors. And as long as you guys are okay with that, I'm only saying this is the natural flow of how things will work. If you're okay with Caymanian-owned businesses shutting their doors because they no longer can afford to pay people, then it is what it is. We just keep it moving as long as everyone is aware of the realities of the situation. Okay. I'm still trying to find some pictures that I took in Athens so you guys can get a reality check of what that place looks like. It's interesting. Now, I don't mind looking at ruins that are 1,000 years old and saying, okay, yeah, that's the city for you. But when I have to look at, here's one. Let me see if I can show you all this. When I have to look at buildings that look like this, I'm just going to show you my, to download it. I don't know, why does iPhone do this? They want to download it as a zip file. I'm like, just give me the thing as a JPEG file, man. Sure. All right. Okay. Can y'all see this photo? Right? If you look in the background, a lot of these buildings are shuttered up, right? Homeless people. The place looked really, I was surprised, to say the least, right? Nothing is really taken care of. Even the concrete falling apart, places shuttered up. See here? All this is, at one point, these were booming businesses that are now shuttered and closed up. And of course, that increases crime, and you got people getting into the, this was something else I was looking at. Hold on. So this is it. All these buildings here, nobody now living in them. They're all shuttered up. Yeah. This is their reality. Let me see. I don't know what page. Yeah, there we go. There's another one. This is what it looked like. All this is inside. They try to cover it up on the outside with these little pieces of cloth or whatever. But if you look through this, what used to be a window, all of this is degrading concrete that's like disintegrating and falling apart. And that's what Athens in the city. Now, this is beautiful, but this is just one little statue. This is what all of the thousands of years of statutes and history and monuments is surrounded by. Complete dilapidated buildings that are falling apart. And you might have, one or two kind of interspersed in there. And this is a reality of not just this city, but of California, right? Right where they have the hall of, what they call it? Not walk of shame. Might be a lot of that going on, but the whole star, what's it called again? Where they put the stars, whatever. That whole area is impoverished. Squatters. Zeus, hold on. Oh my goodness. Zeus getting tied up in my headset cord. Excuse me, sir. Lift your leg. There you go. Go check out the homelessness in California. The abject poverty of people living on the street. The increase in robberies and violence, even for people who have financial means, who can no longer feel safe in their own communities. This is real. And what is California's, what is their minimum wage? Right? It's a sad situation. 5 million Californians live below the poverty line. And for them, the poverty line is $39,900 a year for a family of 4. Less than $40,000 for a family of 4 is what they define the poverty line as. The minimum wage in California is $16 an hour. That's effective January the 1st. $16 an hour. And what did I just say to y'all? 5 million people living below the poverty line, making less than $39,900, not for a single person, but for a family of 4, according to their Public Policy Institute. And some cities and counties within California are actually paying more than the state minimum wage, which is $16 an hour. Again, get out of the mindset that minimum wage anywhere in the world is where you want to be. That is going to be what is going to make you have a decent life. Yep. As of April the 1st, coming up now, 2024, all fast food restaurant employees are going to be covered by the new law, which says that they must be paid at least $20 an hour. So they get paid even more. And how much is that going to sustain you when you have apartments that are ridiculously priced, housing that is out the roof, right? All these other things, the cost of living never comes down. Look at the time. Oh my gosh. Well, y'all didn't tell me what time of day it was. Sure. We're getting carried away. Orville says $10 per hour. Geriatric nurses only getting $10 an hour for most companies. Damien says government import duties and coffers start to decrease. Jordan says mind blown by how many people don't see the effect that this will have. They cannot just raise the minimum wage alone and expect a life of green grass to follow. Yasmin says, I think they should say $9 an hour, make it flat. What difference does that make, though? I mean, whether it's $9, $8.75, making it flat, 25 cents extra, that's going to make a difference in whether companies are going to close or not. It's not going to make a difference, whether it's a flat rate or not. Is $8.50 flat? Why is $8.75 not flat? Just because it's not a whole number? Shaka Zulu says, Auntie Sandy, look no further than oil-rich Trinidad. They were the economy in the Caribbean that made good money from their oil and mineral deposits, but look at them now, struggling third world. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. I sent you a picture of a receipt from a restaurant in Los Angeles where, in addition to the gratuities, now they're adding an additional 4% so that you can pay the servers health insurance.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
I just sent you the picture.
Wow.
Right.
And so the businesses expect the consumers to have to pick up the tab. This is the sad part about it. And that's not just in Cayman. That will be every single place in the world. It's crazy. I'm looking at what you sent. Thank you.
Yep.
So here we go. A receipt for a bill. I don't know who the heck Alimento is, but there you go. Health insurance for staff, 4%. Lord Jesus. Wow, they're not even fronting. They're telling you what that is. They are taking that cost and passing it directly onto them. Directly onto the consumer. That's us, we the people. And see what the explanation says at the bottom? A 4% service charge is added to each check so we can offer our staff health insurance. Please notify your server if you'd like this removed. Woo, that's an interesting way of begging for money. Wow. That's pretty crazy, actually. Is health insurance not mandatory in the States? I guess maybe it's not mandatory in California for the employer to pay it. So, wow, I'm mind blown. Stephanie says, example, 7-Eleven was a very small business for many years. Yet I only remember 1 or 2 employees. 7-Eleven, was a very small business. Yeah, I mean, they probably are not really making as much money as you think. John LaRue says San Diego and San Francisco is a total mess with homelessness and mental health issues. Al says businesses shut down every day and the 1%ers keep getting richer. We should ask the question, how did the world reach this point? Well, the more important question is, do you think you're actually going to change the world where that isn't going to be the case? I'm just saying. Live says taxes are coming out of that $16 per hour too. Yeah. In the States, your take home, let's be very, very clear. Your take home isn't going to be $16 an hour. Miss Fate says no clock watching. I didn't even realize the time, to be honest. Al says instead of fighting, trying to keep people down, work on fixing the system better for humans to live healthier lives. Well, I'm telling you that each and every one of you have the opportunity to make things better for yourself. No, that's not a Cayman restaurant. That's California. But you have got to do what you got to do. Minimum wage. This is a takeaway from today's lesson class. Minimum wage is not a place you should ever want to stay forever. You might start out as a teenager at minimum wage. You know, domestic workers, you might start out there. But if you add value to your employment situation, you will not stay at minimum wage. And there are things that you can do to improve your life to actually add value. No matter what the minimum wage is, it will never be enough with the increasing rise in the cost of living. Okay? Y'all saw this thing about Kellogg's the other day. We haven't gone through all of our news yet, but Kellogg's telling people must eat their cereal for dinner. The truth is, you can't afford to eat Kellogg's for dinner either in the United States of America. Americans are turning to gardening, hunting, and extreme couponing. Here's another headline from a couple of days ago to combat the rising food prices. Now, I know y'all think that it's bad in Cayman, but it's not just Cayman that it's bad in. It is bad all over the world. So in the United States of America, on the whole, they tend to make less money than most people right here in Cayman. And comparatively speaking, it doesn't mean that their cost of living is any cheaper. You see, the cost of living for us is cheaper because we are coming from a greater disposable income in this jurisdiction. Y'all never think about that. So when you run over there, I've lived in the United States of America, so I know what I'm talking about. When y'all run over there with your vacation money, you're like, oh, I could go to Walmart and get 10 bags of groceries for what I'd get for, one in here in Cayman. First of all, that's not true no more. So y'all better go and shop and look carefully. And secondly, it is totally different because what you are walking with, if you go to Miami for the weekend, you got a couple $1,000s. You think if you're living in the United States of America, you're going to be walking into Walmart on a weekend and have a couple $1,000s? That's not going to happen. So right now, according to this article, U.S. consumers are spending more money on food than they have in the past 30 years. Zeus, stop the licking. That means that we in Cayman are in the exact same position. Inflation has gone up. The cost of living has gone up. The Wall Street Journal reported last week, citing data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Americans spent 11.3% of their disposable income on food in 2022, which was more than they have since 1991. These are the realities. Okay. Restaurant prices were up 5.1%. Listen, our radio listeners, I don't like them to miss out on anything. We're going to pick up this conversation tomorrow. This is what Kevin is sharing with us this morning. Morning, Kevin. He lives in Florida. He said the Florida minimum wage is scheduled to increase by $1 every September 30th until reaching $15. And that's in September. That's supposed to be September 30th of 2026. That's per the amendment Floridians approved in 2020 to raise the wage incrementally. First from $8.65 to $10 in 2021, and then another $1 every year until it reaches $15 an hour for non-tipped employees and $10.98 for tipped employees. That way businesses could prepare and not take a huge sudden hit. About 30% of your pay here in the USA goes to taxes and benefits. I'm going to repeat that again tomorrow, Kevin. Thank you for that information. Very, very useful. If you have any time, Kev, tomorrow, jump in on the conversation with us. But definitely, I'll repeat that so our radio listeners can hear it as well. Mm-hmm. All right. What? Oh my God. What the hell? Okay. Oh my God. I can't even. Oh my God. Wow. So we have another suicide to report this morning. Unfortunately. It's a woman this time. I'm hearing has hung herself. Some of the details is that she works at a school, a private school, and she might have done it in the presence of students. I hope to God that that isn't true. Let me try to do some fact finding to see what the hell that's all about. Oh my God, that's horrible. Wow. Not true. Okay, this person said it's not true. So there's no hanging, or not true that it was in front of the kids. Let's get some clarification. Probably that she didn't do it at the school. I mean, thank God. I mean, listen, I'm not encouraging anybody to kill themselves. I think obviously I also don't judge people when they do. But if you choose to do so, please don't ever do it in a way that harms other people, that put other people at jeopardy, and don't have other people have you see it. So they said, yes, there has been a suicide, but not affiliated with the school. Okay. Whew. Not that I'm happy that somebody's killed themselves, trust me. Oh, that just gave me an instant headache. Oh my God. Okay. We'll flesh out some details about this. Mental health is serious, folks. I was talking to a guy day before yesterday, and I was a little bit surprised that he opened up to me. I'll talk about this in the morning, but you know, everybody walks around trying to be macho man and macho woman. I think when someone says to you that they're struggling and they've had mental health concerns, you need to listen. Because listen, most Caribbean men are not going to say that to you ever. This person, Jamaican gentleman, I asked him to come do something for me. He's like, I've been struggling for the past year. I can't sleep. I'm having issues sleeping, this and that, you know, losing weight. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm not a therapist, but I'm like, really? What's going on? Because when you hear someone say that to you, that is their cry for help. And I'm like, have you spoken to a professional? There are professionals out there who can help you. Who have you reached out to? Oh, you know, I went through a divorce and then a breakup, and then my son had issues. And, you know, people take on a lot on their shoulders. And so, folks, if you're having some issues, please reach out to the professionals. I'm not equipped to help you. If you're in desperate need, call 911, call anybody who can help you, because there are people who can. There are hotlines now out there. Please reach out. Oh, so sad to hear that this morning. All right, my good people. What you gonna do? Rough out in the world, honey child. It's rough out in the world. Okay, breathe. I feel like we need to start having meditation in the mornings. Some yoga or something. Get centered. All right, folks. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I think tomorrow morning, actually, Jay is going to come and join us about Taste the Cayman. So we'll be back in the morning. And yes. We'll continue the conversation. Oh, Lord, what a hot mess. Ah, boy. Okay. See you all tomorrow. My screen grab story. Which one was that again? Oh, Lord, I can't remember. Anyway, we had a whole list of stories that we didn't get to today. So, we'll get to them tomorrow. Ay. All right, folks. Be good. Try not to get in any car accidents, honey Jill. Do your best to drive proper. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.